I've always kind of like rolled by the ethos and the motto that it's you versus you. I ended up getting diagnosed with CPTSD, and that was later on in life when I was a little bit of a breakdown. Before that, when I was young, getting into loads of fights in the street. Wow, you've put this much work and effort into this. And then now because you can't rationalize something that was nothing to do with you, that was completely out of your control, I'm gonna let it ruin everything that I can be.
Dan, a massive warm welcome to Shake the Mic.
Thank you very much.
You're our first ever UFC fighter, so it's an absolute honour and a privilege to have you here. Thanks so much for taking the time to come in, my man.
I appreciate that, man.
I fight demons bigger than the sport in an attempt to achieve greatness. To be the best version of myself, I overcome the darkest parts within. That is, and always will be, my strongest competitor. Can you tell me exactly what you mean by that?
And if you're getting better tomorrow, you're better today than what you was yesterday, that 1% is all that matters. For me, you should be able to find contentment in that, and the little pockets of happiness and joy will also come, amidst the fact that you stay true to yourself. So it's a motto that I've always lived by. I'll never change from that, and I'll take that into any facet of, career or aspect of life, regardless whether it be the sport, looking after my kids, walking down the street, saying hello to people. I do it to, do the best of my ability and just make sure that I'm better tomorrow than what I was today.
My man. When you say the darkest parts, what are the darkest parts of Danny Robertson? Where do your demons come from?
It's crazy you even say that, because I've had moments and times where I've been able to share my story, but I haven't really fully been able to open up about it. In a sense that as of right now, this chapter of my life, I'm very busy training, getting ready for fights, doing this, that, and the other, running around, a lot of commercial work and that. So, my time kind of is ate up. But within that, I'm able to understand where I get that inner power, that strength to strive and keep moving on every single day, regardless of, if yesterday was a bad day, and overcoming yesterday's adversities, I will make sure that, again, reiterating and go back onto that 1%, that today I'm going to get up, I'm going to strive, I'm going to do the best, and that's all that matters. So it all stems from my childhood. I had a very traumatic few years when I was a kid, which ultimately got me into fighting. I will say that I didn't find fighting. Violence found me, which then I've become very exposed to it at a young age, so then it was easy for me to make that transition into understanding what the fight game was, having the ability to kind of filter and switch off of certain emotions based upon the fact that, fear was something that I didn't really face or challenge when it comes to it, It was more so about controlling oneself and being able to, put the demons to one side, go and never level head and do what I can do. Now, I will say this, when people see me fight, they understand it, and they see that sometimes I can be very emotionally driven, and that is what I say when it's you versus you. Sometimes I'm still, at this day and age in my life, I'm still going through it, still tussling with that younger version of me, that monkey inside that's just,
Can we get to the younger version of you? Can you go deeper on when you say to me you were in and around violence? In what way? Was it in the home? Was it in the street? Where was the violence done? What was it that gave you that traumatic time?
It was a handful of years, right, when I was a kid, and it all stemmed from that. I ended up getting diagnosed with CPTSD, and that was later on in life when I had a little bit of a breakdown. Before that, when I was young, getting into loads of fights in the street, and then before that, when I was a kid, when them impactful years actually happened, child abuse, all of that. One of my mum's boyfriends when we was kids, mum's white, my dad's black, he left when we were babies. So I didn't actually get to meet him until later on in life.
Do you think that was something you'd always longed for? That father figure and that person to be around?
Yeah, I'll be honest, 100%. And I've kind of modelled what I thought and believed I should have had at the time.
Security. You needed you then?
Yeah. Security, safety, the foundations, the fundamentals of what, every child needs. And that's to feel secure, safe, loved. Now, I extend that now to like I say, to my generation, my kids, in a position where I want to give them everything that I didn't have. And because I didn't have it,
feel that.
I'm able to know what that is. So I'm trying to fill that void. I feel like I'm doing a good job here, don't get me wrong. But none of us are perfect. But it's about, again, making that conscious effort to being able to be that little bit better every single day. So as long as I know that I'm doing that, I'm striving to be the best version of myself, and that's the only thing that matters.
When you say your dad went around, so this guy was here, is that the dark time? Do you feel like that's the time that drives you still now, then?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Listen, they say that a lot, we live in a new era now, right? Where we understand so much about psychology, child psychology, and how much we're made up based upon, a fragment of our life, because you become hardwired. It's like the core roots of who you are.
They say, don't they know, to 7, you're a young man at 7, like that's the basis of what you're going to go off. So I've got a little boy who's 7 now, I've got one who's 10, one who's 5, I've got 4 children. But
been a busy bee, huh?
My man needs to get a telly now.
So you get sponsorship on the back of this one.
But yeah, so at 7, like, you've got the fundamentals of a man. But I understand what you're saying. Like, technology's moved on. We've all got access to the internet. We're all a lot more, I wouldn't say we're a lot more educated, but it's there for all of us, and it's available for all of us if we want to dig into it and delve into it. Back then, it weren't as understood.
No.
Do you feel like this was the catalyst for you becoming the person you've been? In a way, it's a blessing because you are who you are today. It's made you the man who you are. But at that time, was you sort of misunderstood and lost?
Yeah, massively. I didn't have no direction. I didn't even understand who I was. I was one of 3 black kids that, lived in a household with a white mom in a white community. I didn't know anything about my ancestral traits or, who I actually was. 50% of me was, from another beginning somewhere else. And there was no one that was there to educate me, to make me be able to feel some sort of social inclusion.
Did you feel different, Dan?
Yeah, madly different. And then again, coming from the beginning, what I did and being, disprivileged, going to school was another problem, which then made me feel even more different, even more like the outcast. So I got into fights, problems, and it would always be me being a protector. I would never be a guy that had animosity or would want to just try and have a fight with someone for the sake of it. I'd always be looking after a friend or a family member. And it, again, stems back from them few years when I was a kid. There were some things that I witnessed when I was a kid. Again, sexual abuse, physical abuse, all of that. There was things that I witnessed when I was a kid that made me turn around and say, when I was a baby, I made like a bit of a stand to myself, a pact. Yeah,
I seen that. You. I don't know whether I seen you'd written it somewhere or you said it somewhere, but I can recall it or recite. You said, at 7 years of age, I made a pact to myself that. I was going to make a change. I was going to make a difference.
Yeah, and I still can vividly remember me standing in the corner as a kid and saying that to myself. And it was after what I'd seen that day, which was just like that tipping point where I was like...
What was your mental state like back then as a 7-year-old boy?
Do you know what? As much as I was an individual and felt very alone, I was very... There was a certain aspect about it that I was very okay with. And that was the singularity. It was like I never had to have my hand held or to do it. I was my own man at that age already. I didn't even realize it. Like I was already making decisions that were like, I shouldn't have been doing until I'm 15, 16.
You were an adult in a boy's body.
Yeah. And it was like, right, this is going to happen now. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make this change. This is going to happen. I'm going to make sure these people are looked after. And it might not be today. It might not be tomorrow. But one day, I'm gonna be able to make a change. That's, I'm going to be able to be proud of and pat myself on the back. And that's all that matters. That's why I'm a bit of a nomad. You can hear by the accent and all that. I'm originally from London, moved to Bristol for a few years, Bristol to Liverpool. I've moved when I was a kid, like, I don't know.
I love that, bro, because that's what you're made up of, all different pieces. It makes us who we are, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Also, as well, I believe that certain people never mature. When we're mollycoddled, some people don't ever become like a man, Dan. If it's hard for me to try and put it into words, when you said like back then you were like a little man, but you were 7, you were making them decisions. Some people are never actually put in a position where they've got to like fend for themselves and make them decisions and stand on things, and they're usually people who come from a bit more privileged background. And I try and keep my children away from that now and steer them away from that, because I had to stand on my own feet and make my own decisions when I was growing up, and I believe that's made me the person that I am today.
Yeah.
And I think you need that.
Yeah.
Because in this generation, people, you can get your hand held too much, you know what I mean? And it helps, but it'll only serve you so far. you know, I'm feeling cut off, I'm feeling lost and stuff like that, sometimes it saves you later down the line and for you.
Yeah,
You know?
no, I totally agree.
One thing I've noticed as I observe, and it's a quality I love about you, you're a massive people person. From an onlooker's perspective, it seems where you come from means the world to you, and you seem to have your feet firmly on the floor, even through all the success. You're very grounded and you're very much a man of the people. I love that about you, brother.
Yeah.
Even like coming in and spending the time here with me today and stuff, you can see, and even all your posts and stuff like that, every time you fight, you know, you always say, this is for me people, blah, blah, blah. And I love that because, you know, that's... it's a little bit different. A lot of people sort of forget themselves or they can lose themselves or whatever, but you seem to have that, like that's something seems to be close to your heart from an outsider's point of view. Just that's only an onlooker's perspective.
Okay, I appreciate that. One thing I will say about that, just to, you know, reiterate and put a standpoint on that, is we all only have one life to live. And for me, all of us have power to be able to help a common man or common for the person next to us and just try and uplift them a little bit. Now, if we are a nation, if we are, you know, on a global effort, we're all trying to do that, we're trying to lift our brothers and sisters, then ultimately we can all achieve greatness in our own little facet of life, whatever that may be. Now, I came from nothing, so why am I going to think that I'm ever better than somebody else?
I don't say this often, Don, but you've just shook the mic, brother.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, just try and keep it real. We all bleed the same color blood. We'll go into the same place at the end of the day. So my thing is, this is a legacy. It's how many people can I impact? How many people's lives can I change? How many people can I help? Just have a different different outlook on life and the way that they think on a day-to-day basis. And if I can help towards that, especially with the fact that I've been given the God-given power to be where I am on the platform where I am, to be able to be heard, why wouldn't I try and help influence for the greater good? If I'm going to try and bring down people, if I'm going to try and do anything that's the opposite, I'm adding to the systematic bullshit that we already have going on around us on a day-to-day basis that we're already struggling to strive to overcome. You know, as if paying bills isn't hard enough. Do you know what I'm saying? So any way, shape or form that I can help, you know, just enlighten people, I will.
It's refreshing, man. It really, really is. Speak to someone in your position who's got that outlook, man. Hot chocolate. Where did the name come from?
I always find this one a hard one to talk about because I actually inherited it when I come up to Liverpool. I moved up here as a joiner by trade, and then I was just like spinning loads of plates at the same time as doing my fight career. And it's like, all right, sweet. Well, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? And the next thing it was like, all right, sweet. Well, if you want to be a full time, you want to dedicate yourself to your training, you got to try and find a job that works with your secondary job, which you're trying to make your primary. All right, well, I'm training Monday to Saturday. I'm doing 6 hours or whatever in the gym, morning, afternoon, and night. I need to find a job that works with that. Suitable for that was working on the doors. So I jumped on the doors maybe for like 4 or 5 years as a stopgap to put all my eggs in one basket with the fighting and go, right, this is my destiny. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it my best shot. And in that way I can say that I tried. So I did that. Started working on the doors, and there was a few guys I used to work with, from like the Rubber Soul to the Passion to, you know, Garland's days and all that.
Yeah, man.
And there was a Serbian guy I used to work with, and he was actually the first one who come up with it. And it was weird. And like, you know, we'd stand on the door. I've got bad sweet tooth, not as bad as that anymore. Like every now and then I'll have a little something.
Blast,
but
yeah.
I used to go with like, what's a little blast? I used to go with like bags of minstrels and like Snickers and Mars bars coming out of my pocket and that, and I'd just be like shooting them on the door, blah blah blah. And it was just something that rang. It'd be like, oh, there's Choco there, da, da, da. And then I used to get attention on the doors as well. So it'd be like, then the hot Choco started to ring. It's more like people that are old enough to be my mum and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Oh, he's cute. It's the I was like, do you know what I mean? Getting all that kind of like conversation going on, and then it'd be like, all right, but there's hot chocolate, there's hot Choco, and then people start getting introduced to me as that rather than my name. Now, obviously, me being a newbie in Liverpool, it stuck. And then some people was like, they come to me and they announce me as like that hot chocolate before they even say my name because they don't know my name.
Yeah.
So then it was just something that stuck. And then I had someone from the MMA world, David Lefferby. He was actually the guy who you know put that into practice. So I'll say thank you to you now, Dave. Something a little bit different.
Yeah, man.
He's like, you know, you got anything that anyone calls you that, you know, you might think that might work in this world that we live in? I'm like, what? Like, he's like, no, the slasher, the bone crusher, all that doesn't work. Like, we need something unique, something different. I was on that jail. I was like, I get called hot chocolate from time to time. He's like, oh, hot chocolate. Yeah. I think I even walked out to one of my man's tunes as well. What was it? I Believe in Miracles or something like that.
My man. You were born in Croydon, London, in the summertime, July 1987. What was it like growing up in South London in the 90s? Can you tell us about like your earliest childhood memories, your family, your parents, your setup? I know you've touched on it slightly before, but siblings, how many siblings did you have?
All right, so this is the maddest thing. So like now, I think there was 9 of us at one stage when I was like 11, 12. And we got like other families kind of just gelled together and stuff. Next thing we know, I'm looking around, I've got stepbrothers and sisters, I've got half brothers and sisters. And
wow.
My immediate is me, my brother, Dwayne, and my sister Shreen. So it's just us 3.
Who's the oldest then?
My sister Shreen. Yeah. And she's become my world. She's everything to me. And she ultimately helped me kind of see the vision that I had, because when we were growing up, there was that much going on. And obviously coming up from a life of poverty and all that, it was like she kind of gave me a lot of direction. So she become like my second mum. Do you know what I mean?
Someone to look to.
Yeah. And she was also the reason why I turned around and said at the age of 7, I'm making a promise that I'm going to change lives. That's it.
Yeah.
And it was seeing the shit that she went through. And she was the one who remembered everything. Me and my brother didn't remember everything. It wasn't
because she was older, her memory's a bit more vivid.
Yeah. Well, this is the crazy thing. The body's able to suppress memories based upon the trauma that you go through. So at the age where I was, I like, it would go, what? So when was your earliest memory? Like, all right, 4. From 4, you actually start making up memories where you can delve back. I hear people say that. I'm like, wow. So you can remember that?
Yeah, because I can't remember when I was 4.
Down. I can't remember anything before I was 10 until I started having these episodes and a little bit of breakdown. Right now, funny enough, I seen someone else who had in the show, Dean Garnett. Me and him was actually living together when I had that one of them episodes of him breakdown and that. And
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
It was like I said, got diagnosed with CPTSD, and I just woke up one like nightmares and all that, and I'd get phantom smells of the guy who was our abuser. You know, that kind of body odor and all that. He was a horrible guy. Hallucinations in the middle of the night, see him standing in the corner, all that kind of stuff. Wake up, just irrational kind of like levels of like fear and trembling, shaking, sweating, cold sweats and that. And I just found myself like closing myself away in a room for the best part of 3 months or whatever. Suicidal thoughts, keeping the windows, curtains closed, sitting in a dark room. Just in a bad way, to be fair. I was working on doors at the time as well. I had to like come off that. I had to just take a little moment for myself and then reevaluate. I had a couple of other good people around me that kind of knew what was going on, knew a little bit about my past, but didn't know the in-depths of, you know, what I now knew. Then it took me to take the courage after them 3 months to get in touch with my sister and go, listen.
Let's go back and peel the layers back.
Did this happen? Because something's come up that I just can't compute, and I need to know what it is and how it is. And then that's when she started connecting the dots for me. My mum knew about it because my sister spoke to my mum, but they never opened up to me because they didn't want to.
Male.
Do you know what I mean? Just unhindered or something that didn't need to be.
You don't want to take the lid off something like that, brother, and credit to you for going back there and trying to unearth them things, because I think you need to, in order for you to you've got to sit with it to be able to live with it. And if you keep pushing it in the corner and pushing it in the corner, it's sort of always be there. But for you to even sit here now and talk to me about it, it's like talking to anyone about it, but confronting it and going back to it's like the hardest thing to do, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because it's something that's there and it's raw within you. You know what I mean? But now you've pieced the dots together. It's like you can start trying to build from there.
It's weird that I'm sitting here playing with one of my toggles and my punters. I'm still in a position right now, bro, where I find it easy to talk about it and easier, and you know, I'd like to share my story and help people understand a little bit about this nomad that you see in front of you, like where I come from, the places that I've been and the things that I've seen. But it's still a part of me which I can't change. My childhood, I can't change that. It was like I didn't ask to be born into this world. I didn't ask to be in that situation. Just like many of our kids in and around us now, it's our job as adults to make sure that we give them that great foundation to be able to help them for the rest of their life, because you'll only ever come up with more and more problems further down the line.
It's not our fault. It's not your fault. It's as they say, don't do the saying goes. You can't choose your family. You can choose your friends. Vinnie Shawman, like he's a mind therapist, like a psychologist. I've had him on before. He works with a lot of fighters, but he works with people in general. And he was saying, like, your childhood is not your fault. Your past is not your fault. But he gets so many people coming to him, this happened to me, that happened to me. He's like, yeah, it did happen, but it happened to you. You never done it.
Yeah,
and it's not your fault, bro. It's not on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a very, very hard thing to move forward from.
Well, that was, again, to second from that, that was one of the things that they made and helped me understand that the only way that I could move forward from that position of where I started to have them breakdowns, all of a sudden I felt like I took so many steps forward because I'd already boxed then. I got into MMA. I was on the cuffs of breaking out of, like, you know, top number one in Cage Warriors to then go into the UFC, and then I get hit in the face with all this. And I was prepared just to let my life go down the pan. And I thought to myself, hang on, you've put this much work and effort into this. And then now, because you can't rationalize something that was nothing to do with you, that was completely out of your control, I'm going to let it ruin everything that I can be. No. And that's what I turn around and say, for the small part of something which I had no control in, for it to then be in a position where, you know, it's sitting at the steering wheel, I couldn't let that happen. And then go and get an RDM therapy, seeing shrinks and psychiatrists and stuff like that. There was a few people over a few years and going to different people. Even when I was out in the States, I had, you know, someone out in Florida, one of the best people out there, and sit me down on a weekly basis, go through some things. It just created me to be mindful about everything that I was doing on a daily basis. And even the things, then I started to question my subconscious. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? How do I react to something in a certain way? And is that actually what I really want? Or is it because there's something inside me that tells me that that's what I should or shouldn't have at that time, at that moment? And that's something that I had to be very honest with myself, which, again, you spend a few years of doing that and reflecting, you only get to understand yourself more, which then empowered me to level up again. So I'm like, you don't lose. You know what I mean? We either win or learn. And then the greatest aspects of what had happened to me in my life are here, and they show me time and time again, listen, here we are. Like, we do something or we won't do something. It's down to you. The tools are right in front of you. The opportunity is right in front of you. And like I say, it was one thing that led on to the next that then helped me each day just get through what I needed to come out the other side. And then because I knew what had happened, who I was through that whole chapter of life, it then helped me, you know, really
understand.
Yeah. And then also set me up for the next chapter. In the sense I talk about being a father, being the person that I want to be, you know, with my relationships and how I kind of move forward. Like that helped massively for that, you know.
There's triggers as well, isn't it, Dan? Like certain things, as you said, certain smells, certain things we see, certain situations, and it can just make you feel a certain way. It could make you feel angry, it could make you feel like, but like, someone would be like, what, he just seemed fucking weird there. But no, it was something that came over you that's inside you, and you're like, whoa, it makes you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
It can happen on the other end of the script spectrum as well. Something like, you might hear a certain song and it reminds you of a certain time, and you get in your flow with it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or, you know, bad times and whatever. There's certain triggers, and if we can identify why it makes us feel that way, then we can control it a little bit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly,
It's trying to go, I know why that's making me feel like that, but I need to learn to fucking face it and sit with it, and I can put a lid on it, I can sort this, I can box it, I can move forward from it. Your school life?
School life was mad, yeah. To start off with, anyway, until I got settled.
Mum was getting kicked out left, right and centre.
Yeah, that's what down in London, that's what I'm saying.
Why go on, geez? What's happening there?
Yeah, no, down in London, I don't think I again, it was that whole thing of being a child, not knowing who I was, and then not finding any placement around any social circle. It was just like I was out there like a lone wolf. Do you get me? I'll do my thing here, I'll do my thing there. And it wasn't until I moved to Bristol and it became a little bit more settled. But even then, it was like we had the rivalries of the different estates and that. And then in our generation, like, forget your YouTubes or your tablets and all that. Nah, it's about your grounds. How much ground do I own? And this is my territory. That's yours. You stand over there. If you come over here, we got beef, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's you couldn't have mates in certain areas because they're from there. It's like even if you would have got on with them, it's like, sorry, bro, we can't because you're from there and we're from here.
Let's go knock on Steve's now. Steve can meet us on this road because the only road that's safe. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that was the way it was. And then again, Bristol was fine. I still got friends down there now. It was some of the best friends that I think I'll have for the rest of my life because they're real.
Yeah.
They're real as they come. And you know why? Because they come from nothing. And that's
where a lot of the real ones come from, Dan.
Well, that's the thing. That's all I've ever been shown. So it's like I don't go into any sort of situation like that. Not with any of my friends down there, or just in general. I'm like now in a position where I can tell from somebody's vibe.
Yeah, straight away, you know
what their intentions are. You know, whether they've got any, outer kind of, you know what I mean.
It's a gut instinct, isn't it? Yeah. Like a judge of character, like you know, like yeah, they're for me or they're not.
Yeah.
We're vibing or we're not, bro.
Yeah. No, we're 1,000,000%. So
I feel that.
Yeah, so I'm in a position where, just to build down in Bristol, I've still got.
Did you move to Bristol at 9?
What was it? Yeah, a little bit older than that. I think it was 9, 10.
9, 10, yeah. Harcliffe, was it?
Yeah. You know too much about me.
Man's done his own work, you know.
yeah. Young. And then Harcliffe is one of them. Harcliffe is as far as Bristol's concerned, and even you do research on it now. I think there's some parts of Bristol which are down as like they got some of the highest rates of poverty going across them. You get council estates. I don't even think that there's that many council estates around anymore. People own houses now, even on council estates.
Yeah.
But at that time, every single house was a council house.
Rough.
You get me? Yeah.
Every family's rough, and that's just the upbringing in it. Everyone everywhere is from the same. You're all the same. Just fucking mad hoodlums just all running around, and a lot of people looking for direction. I feel like the world's changed from now to then as well. Like I grew up in the 90s and I grew up in Liverpool, and it was fucking mad here. Like it was probably mad everywhere, you know what I mean? It was a different generation, weren't it?
That's what it is though as well.
We played out.
Yeah.
These don't now, you know what I mean?
No, the streets are dead, aren't they? They're cold by 6 o'clock. There's no one out on the road. And
5 more minutes, 10 more minutes. It was all of that when we were growing up.
It's like, it would be so nostalgic for me to walk down the street and see 2 kids playing Kirby.
Yeah. We'd be out for hours and hours. And sometimes you'd play on your own, bruv. If no one was out, you'd still be out. It'd be raining, it'd be cold, and I'd still be out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was no filter for anything like that.
Yeah.
You know
I'd just be out 24/7. We'd come home, get changed, go to school, come home, get changed, and you're out, aren't you?
That reminds me, you just turned around and said that. So we used to go that was down in Harcliffe. We used to go down and hang around, and we had this big massive roundabout right in the centre, where it used to go off into 4 different estates, and that's where loads of people used to congregate, different firms of kids from different areas.
That was the spot.
And we had bypasses underneath, So there'd be 4 different ones, and we had one which we used to always have unlocked. So we used to fly over there or whatever. We used to be playing out and all that, having a little laugh, a few mates and all that. And that brings me to the point. Like there was one time I went out with like a temperature like 40 or something mad like that, fever kicking into death, and I just didn't want to not be out.
Yeah,
and it was raining. I was out. Ended up like almost passing out in the bypass, and then I had like 4 or 5 people throwing their jackets on me. 1 or 2 of them running home because we never had mobile phones then.
Yeah,
running home to go knock on the door, and say, "Dan, he's collapsed. He's not feeling too good. You need to get up and go and see him." My mum's coming up to come and pick me up and all that.
It's love though, innit, the way they're there for you and that, and it's like, I need to go out. No, you can't go out. Well, no, I need to. Like the world's gonna end. Like you're gonna miss something, bro. You know what I mean? But you're not missing nothing. But you feel like you are. If you're in and they're out, it's not happening.
Just one night, innit?
Yeah, you had the paper round, didn't you?
I did. Yeah.
My man, I had the paper round too.
Yeah,
I was stepping on my passport.
I was busy. Hey, I don't know where you found out about me having a paper round for, boy, but you've been doing your homework. Yeah.
Man, CID.
What? You've been on to one of my boys down in Bristol. Hey, so you can tell me a little bit about his life. What's going on there? Yeah, I had 4.
So what sweet shot was that for?
Yeah, swear down. KP News.
Doing the mail.
I think his shop's still going right now. That guy, and he used to work. Listen, I know he had one shop that's now extended to a supermarket. He's one of them guys that just he's humble, done his thing. Yeah, like say he had me working, and I think the legal age to have a paper round was like 13. And I think I must have been like 11. 11, yeah, blagged it. I was like, I need this money. Give me this paper.
Man needs this change.
Yeah. So I got all weathers. I'll do 2 before school and then 2 after school.
And that's the upbringing again, because you're hungry for it. It's like, fuck, I want this. Makes you want it, done it badly. And it gives you that incentive to work. It gives you that drive, that work ethic. Yeah. And that's been a transfer of skills from delivering papers to turning up at the gym. It's the same shit. You're out there and you're making it happen regardless.
Well, what did Mike Tyson say? The discipline isn't
Doing what you hate, but doing it like you love it.
Yeah. And now you'll understand is when I get that pay packet at the end of the week and I'm going out with my boys who are from the Estates, whose mum and dads are actually working.
Yeah, they got out and they can go in and say, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But if they're going out on the weekend or they're going to pitches, you don't want to not be fucking going, man. So you've got to be a part of that.
Of course. So I got to make some change.
Man's a part of the programme.
Yeah, that's it. You know? So make some change and have a little bit of social inclusion, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can feel it. I know exactly what you're saying. How did you come to find combat sports?
I would say that was through Chrissy Winters. Now, he's one of my old boxing coaches from Bristol. He's an absolute legend. And I was, again, just a rough kid. You know what I mean? So I was getting loads of fights. And it was the filter of not having a filter to be able to, you know, he's scared. He's not about it or he doesn't want this. Like, at the time when stuff used to happen in Bristol, I get a phone call or get a message from someone for a person to person, and I'm out on road going to that destination. Call out job, we are meeting and we are throwing down. That
was you a role man then? Was you down? Was you about that life?
I was about that life, yeah. And I got my face smashed in when I was like 16, like bad.
Yeah.
I was nailed in the face with a rounder's bat. Had all my teeth blown out at the bottom. Lost 2 teeth. I got like what do you call it? Kind of root canals and all that. Pins put in at them. And at the time, it was just like, yeah, bro, you come on, no, this you deserve that. You just turn up somewhere because someone's baited you and because you like. And what was that actually? You know, I had trouble with a couple of different little firms in a different area next to ours, and 1 or 2 of them knew 1 or 2 of them. They were like, well, let's just set them up, let's just get them out and just call them out. So that's what happened, and they absolutely filled me in. Ended up going home, passing out on the doorstep, getting picked up by my mum, covered in blood and all that, dragged in. Mum's crying her eyes out, takes me down to the hospital. I'm in there overnight and all that. Come out the next day and I was back to the same old Danny Roberts. Like, you did that, right? I want names. I'm going to the house now. I turned up the next day and my face was smashed up, big massive lip, my face glued together outside the kid's house who originally had set. Yeah. And like calling her outside his house and all that. And even now when I think about it, it's just like ego.
He must have been like, Ross, this man's loose, like, thought he'd faded, but he's back there the next day.
No problem, I know. So I was just like, I'm half my own problem. It's like, how do I channel it? What do I do? Do you get me? I'm in a position where I just don't care.
I'd been locking the door thinking, shit, I thought he'd at least start that word after 2 weeks, man. He's back the next day.
It was the next day, yeah. Literally, by the time I got back from the hospital, it must have been like 5 o'clock in the morning. I must have had 2-3 hours care. And I remember opening my eyes, first thing I woke up, opening my eyes, and then a tear running down my cheek. And again, it then goes back to that childhood.
The past. You're not making me feel like that.
Yeah, the vulnerability, the victim. Like, nah, I can't have you do that to me. And for that reason, I've got to stand up and got to do something. And I'm sitting there, blood's boiling and all that. So I get onto one of the kids that then know all the lads over the next estate. And I'm like, bro, I need an address. Sort this out. Let's go. So then he ends up coming picking me up. Looked at me and he was like, you sure you want to go? Like, yeah, of course I'm sure I want to go. Let's go. I'm not waiting for nothing. So I ended up turning up. And yeah, it's just even that. I turn around and I look at it. And now I understand there was something in me that was hardwired and that was the subconscious of me that was saying, nah, we're not going to back down today. We're not going to back down in this instance. We're going to turn up fresh face and let them know what time it is. Or less the fresh face, but I turn up anyway. And then in and around that, like I say, as I get older, I then understood the reason how that come into play. But at that childhood, when I was like in my teenage years and that, between the age of maybe 10, 11, and then but definitely things were hot, 15, 16. Them 2 years, like... You
were active.
Yeah, 2-3 times a week and I get into scraps and that, with I'm protecting my brother and my sister, or there's this or there's that, like I'm getting into scraps. And then a lot of it then is like turf retaliation stuff. It's like if someone's had a bad problem with someone and you're part of that family, sooner or later if I see you on road, we're going to have it again.
Yeah. And then so you can't go to the fucking shop because you could bump into such and such and it's on there and then you're having it.
And then we're also kids, and I'm saying generation, we're out every day anyway.
Yeah,
so it's going to happen.
100%. Yeah, it's inevitable.
Yeah,
you're going to see it. And you know it.
And you always know that as well. Like before we even have phones, it'd be one of them. So if I'm going to go meet Regan and my boys and all that, I know 3 places where they're going to be.
Yeah, you know where they're going to be. Like I know where my mates are going to be. And like if you turned up at the first one, you're like, what? They're not here. I know, they'll be at the garages, man. Bang, you bounce down there.
Yeah.
You see your
Yeah,
man
swear
there.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's like-
and that's it. You didn't have phones and that.
Telepathic sixth sense kind of stuff, innit?
Yeah, it was before all the Nokias and the Snake and all
Yeah,
that. Remember
yeah,
them?
yeah.
Your phone, if it had like a ringtone and that, you're a bad man.
Remember
Ali
putting
G's
in
screensaver
remember
or
putting in the
something?
ringtones with like the pressing the key codes.
Yeah,
You get a printouts off the computer. We used to get a printouts off the computer in the college, in the school,
Yeah.
and then we'd be trying to put them in our phones. And I remember all of that. But yeah, no. What got me into fighting again was just
Chrissy Winters.
Chris Winters. Yeah,
How did you find him, or how did he find you?
he found me through his son. His son had seen me getting into a couple of scraps and seen just the younger version of unhinged me, and then he's like, my dad's a boxing coach. Told his dad about me, and then I literally just left school, so I was one of the youngest in the school. So I left school. I was like 16. Was in college at 16.
Sort of the perfect time, I think, because that's like a time where you can really listen and you can really grow. You know, like when you see young kids in the boxing gym, don't get me wrong, some of them do come through and develop and turn out to be amazing athletes and amazing fighters, but I feel like a lot of kids who start like really early, by the time they're 18, 19, then they can't be arsed with it no more because they've lived that disciplined lifestyle, and then they're finding what you've already found at 10. Yeah. They're finding the mates now, they're getting out in the street, they're getting up to no good and whatever, and they start getting led astray, where you've done it the other way round, so you've sort of found it at the right time because you're mature enough to listen and be disciplined, and you're like growing into a man at that stage, do you know what I mean? So it's probably the perfect time for you to have found the sport, or for that to have found you, should we say?
I'd say like before that, it would be a case of like, I would see what curiosity would give you through people that I knew or was associated with. And that was either jail time or, you know, this or that or this pasting or, you know what I mean? I'm like, hang on, well...
Curiosity killed the cat,
yeah,
bro.
do I need to keep doing them things? Because sooner or later, it's swings and roundabouts. They're like, you know, you look at percentages, laws, averages, it's going to be me next.
100%. You know it leaves clues, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, you know you're going to end up down that road, and it's only a matter of time.
Especially when it happens on your doorstep or your neighbours or it's this or that, and then that person was the one that was asking you to be with them yesterday, and it's like, what they say as well, it's the other thing where you're guilty by association, all of that. Like when we're kids, just for knocking around with someone who then have beef with someone from another family. You're getting it, bro. They see you as on site. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's it. There's such and such.
And
they'll come up to you. Yo, where's blah blah?
Being all nice and all that.
Bang.
Try to slide you. Yeah. That's some real stuff, bro. So then, again, it'll be one of them. You become street smart through things like that, through them little, you know, trials and tribulations. But ultimately, like I'm trying to say, like loss will be something that will be impactful. So hence the reason why, you know, great levels of success can come from, you know, different levels of loss as well, because it's hard hitting.
Well, negativity is stronger than positivity, innit, bro? And if something negative happens to you, it hits you harder than if something positive happens to you. It doesn't resonate with us as much. You win something, it's like, oh, yeah, I done all right there. Or something goes your way, it's like, fuck yeah, we'll do it again. If you come up short, or you know, you lose or you get hurt or whatever, they say, don't they, pain's the greatest teacher, and it is. When you get hurt, you remember. So next time you go to do it, there's so many life experiences, and you think, oh, think twice about that. Like, you're sort of edgy, where 2 days ago, lads, you were doing that every day. You know what I mean? Didn't think twice about it, but now you're being bitten by it a little bit. You're like, oh yeah, and that sort of drove you in the right direction, hasn't it? So you've met Chris Winters now. What happened? You started going to boxing gym. What boxing gym was it?
It was called. Oh my God! How would you forgot that? Have you got it? I should ask you. Yeah, you definitely got information.
No, I haven't.
It was.
It was built in a.
Gym in Bristol. Oh my God! I forgot this.
We'll pull it up. We'll come back to it. You'll say to me in 20. It was blah blah.
Yeah, it's Chris Haniger's gym. Chris Haniger was obviously the professional boxing promoter there.
Yeah,
and it was something ABC.
We'll come to it. It'll come back to you.
It will, yeah.
And you're 16. You've went in the doors are there. How did you feel then when you walked into the gym, into that space? Was it for you? Wasn't it for you?
No, it was. It was automatically. And the weirdest thing about it was I could see like loads of kids who came from different areas, all in the same place, all who had the same kind of aspect of what they wanted, or you know, we were just individually, but in their own way, were lost in their own way.
Lost but driven.
Yeah, coming with like old shorts on, or just a pair of odd socks and whatever
Bossing
stuff they could find to be able to get them to that gym. And as you know, boxing was one of them. Boxing was a poor man's sport.
100%.
So people could go there with a quid in their pocket.
Lads,
you're going to get your water and pay for your subs.
To say to me, bro, have you got any dough for subs and shit like that? You know what I mean? Yeah, I've got some water and blah, blah, blah. You don't really have nothing in them type of places. But that's where the best kids are, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where the real ones are.
Yeah.
And you don't really find many knobheads get found out in them type of places because they don't last very long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You see
that
that certain kid and you think he's not going to last 5 minutes, and then there's other kids and you're like, he's a belter and you know he's going to come good, and they're the kids who usually do.
Yeah. It's like
Did you feel like you found for the first time then?
I did. Like, again, Chrissy Winters, he's someone that I've always spoke highly about, and for me, he was very much a father figure that I needed at the time when I didn't have one. Now, you said what I'd say about 16, you know, as a dynamic sort of age to be at, you can either go two ways. Either you're going to become something good, or you're going to go down the straight life of darkness and madness, right? So for me, Chris helped ultimately facilitate this direction, which is ultimately going to get me to where I am right now. So whatever success I found in my facet of life.
He gave you the path.
Yeah, he helped open my eyes and open the doors to that. And
it's a tough path as well. It's the road less travelled. Like, people who haven't lived that life don't understand. It's a life of discipline. People may see you under the lights and go, oh yeah, Dan Roberts, blah, 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 or Charlotte. But it's a tough life. It's an amazing life. It's a great life, but it's a tough life, isn't it, Dan? There's a lot of discipline. There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of I'm not going there. There's a lot of, you know, I can't eat that, you know, I can't do this, I can't do that, and it's all in aid of pursuing a dream, a goal, you know. But once you get that taste for it, once you get that bit, it won't leave you alone, will it?
Well, like, again, there's a time I'm in Bristol, living in Hartcliffe. I've got one of the old mattresses, and my boys will reiterate this and say, like, yeah, he's 100% chatting the truth. I had an old mattress, zip tied it around one of my washing poles. That was my punch bag.
Going to where?
Just be wetting it up, bam, bam, bam. And then I'd see some of the boys like go on the estate or going out that night to go down to light a local bombie and get on the crosses that they've nicked from the next estate to jump down with them. And I'm like,
you're licking that back.
I'm like, nah, I'm working, and like,
that's boss, isn't it?
I can go down, mate, go ahead. And then the maddest thing is now when we look back on all the years, and then they see me stuff on the stage in the UFC, and then I post a picture of me standing there in the garden shadow box, and then like. And they'll always be the ones
stuck
that
to it because you had a vision, you had a dream, and you stuck to the goal. Once you get on that path, if you can stick to it and you can see it and you can believe it, you can get there. And it's a hard sport because you can hate it sometimes. One of the lads who boxed with Kurt Wiggins, he won an ABA title last year. Shout out Kurt, good lad. And Kurt always used to say to me, boxing's like a bad ex, yeah. It's fucking, you just keep going back to it, yeah. And I think he got it from a famous fighter. But it's a sport, combat sport. Once it gets older, it's in you and whatever. The first time, can you remember the first time you'd actually had competition, your very first bout?
Yeah.
Was it with Chris Winters?
Yeah, Chris Winters was my... Listen, even that quickly becomes, you know, that's how you get the fight rituals and all that.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna put my left sock on first this time. Like none of that become like. Christy Winters, I'll say this: like, you gotta understand, when he was my guy who was cornering me, there was no one else that could corner me. I'm thinking to myself, shit, the second he's not there, I'm gonna lose this fight.
Yeah.
Right, that's how much it got in my head. You get me? Because I
needed him.
Yeah, I never had any male role model around me that ultimately could show me how to use the tools that I had to the greatest ability that I could.
If Chris was there, Dan, did you have an undying, unwavering faith?
I was the kid who had the mental fortitude and the resilience from the streets, but now all of a sudden with some skill and a bit of fitness behind me, I was just going hell to the nail. You know, we go full tilt. And I remember the first fight I had, I think I had just turned 17 and it was against a 28-year-old. And
so senior straight away.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. Fighting this big man, he got beard and all that. I'm looking across it, I'm thinking, what's this? And I've got a few of my boys there and all that. We was in some like community centre or something like that.
Do you think that you credit opponents more? Sorry for interrupting you, but when you look at them, you think like, I have like, what? He's got hairy legs, him. He looks strong, him. You know, he looks like a man, him. You know what I mean? Yeah. You start playing all these games.
Yeah.
After it, you look at him, you think, we ain't even that big or anything. But before it, you're looking at him thinking, he looks like a fucking monster.
Yeah. But again, that's the crazy paradigm that I have now. how to translate the way that I think in fighting compared to everyday life. Like, we are all flesh and blood, bro. We're all human. We're just built differently. That's it. I looked at one guy who was a Polish guy that was fighting, and he had calves bigger than my quads. Do you get me? Because I'm looking at his calves thinking, wow, he's dangerous, him. Look at them calves. Naughty them. Bro, he's not going to kick you in your face, you know. It's boxing. I'm looking at the calves thinking, there's going to be a problem then.
Yeah.
But like that's a simple thing, you know.
It's mad that your mom plays games with you.
You start getting your head.
Yeah. When you first had your first bout, from that moment, did you know, I'm going to pursue this, I'm going to do something with this, I'm going to chase this? Or weren't that a moment then? Did you just come away from it and think, I enjoyed that? What was the feeling like after you competed for the first time? Was it like straight away you had that bug where you thought, yeah, like when you get off a ride and you want another go? Or was it like, yeah, sound, I enjoyed that, and you just got back in the gym and back training? When was that moment where you thought, I could fucking have a little bang at this, I could do something with this?
Yeah, I'll be honest, it was a fight. When the 3 rounds, it was a fight. I came out and it was the most out of my lungs blow in my whole life up until that stage. You know, go around having a little 2 minute scrap on the streets.
It's a different world, isn't it?
And it feels like it was a year.
It's hell, innit?
Yeah.
You them 2 minute rounds, and it's just all out. 3 twos, ba 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 ba. You come back to the fucking corner at the end of the first, and you're like, and he's chatting madness. It's going in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
You're fucking trying to get a drink. You fucking the gummies in, and he's like, yeah, he's tapping you on the shoulder. Be first. You're going back out. He's on you again. You're like, boom, boom, thinking shit. Better get my shit together. It's a different world.
Yeah, there's a wake up call, and that's why, like, I can give respect, and I will listen to comments. Viable comments of anyone who's actually even just a white collar, because for me, it's like, now you've experienced what it's like to actually,
it's crazy, bro.
Be killed, kill
or
be
be
killed kind of mentality, as well.
Scary, man.
Yeah, as well as that, just that you understand, if someone turns around and something happens off the cuff, that moment, that spur of the moment, it happens, and you just deal with it there and then, how you naturally would. But the pretense of knowing that you're going to fight in a week or 2 months and all that.
And you can't plan it, bro. You can go over it a million times in your head. You'd be thinking to yourself, I'm going to start nice and cool on the job, blah, blah, blah. Bang, that bell goes. He's on you like a rash windmilling. And all them plans go out the window, lad. You're fucking just turning, trying to find your feet, trying to fucking get your head in the game. Round's gone.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. That's why, like, good piece of advice I go is just deal with what's in front of you, man. Don't overthink it. Just get yourself prepared as best you can, and when you're in there, just try and just deal with what's in front of you at the time.
Yeah.
That's all you can do, man. But it's hard, isn't it, to try?
No, it really is.
And it's, as you say, when you're premeditating, like, you know you've got a bout coming up. How do you get in the mind frame, Dan? Like, the right mind frame? What you do? Do you have any rituals? Do you have any go-to things? So, how do you get your mind frame in that space to kill or be killed?
I think a lot of people have got their own little way of how they want to put it and how they want to say it. And then for 99% of the time, every single play in my head is successful. But then there always is that fraction of doubt. And I will say that because I'm human. Oh, not
we
because,
all have that doubt.
Not because I'm like, you know, I'm any type of super right, I'm this person or whatever. Like, we all have that little bit of doubt. What it is about what you do with it. If you use that to empower yourself to level up and step up to the plate, or you let that become something and it starts to eat away at you. So them minutes or them seconds when you're in a fight, and then you actually let that doubt creep in, then that's obviously where you've let it build during them times where, you know, you're visualizing, you're focusing on what you need to do when you go to bed, and you know as soon as you close your eyes, you're thinking about the fight, you're moving around, you're slipping, you're dipping and all that. That same thing happens. Now, for me, it's about rationalizing what that doubt is, being okay with it, and letting that be the wind underneath your sails to then help level you up to where you need to go to your destination. Everything else in and around that, it's just being human, and that's absolutely fine. So my thing with it then is when it comes then to fighting, I'll know how much I've let that doubt be of doubt during a fight camp, because I will either think about it during a fight or I won't. Now, that's been the difference between my trials and tribulations in fights. It's because a lot of it is a mental aspect. And again, it's me versus me in them moments. And one of the greatest coaches I've ever trained with, Greg Jones, he said that he's like, you know, we don't go out there to win the round. We go out to win the moment. Collective moments are rounds. Collective moments are fights. Collective moments are a career. And they're the things that ultimately, it's like, all right, these next 10 seconds, I understand this is this transition, this is this. If I come up on here and I'm going to be in this position, well, then I'm winning. Just do that for now. And once that's done, then we'll go for the next 10 seconds. Do that for now, and then we'll go for the next 10 seconds after that. You know what I mean? Win them small battles.
Them moments can overcome you, or you can overcome the moments, and I can totally relate to what you're saying. I've been like lit up with a big few shots, and I thought, whoa, and it's like that can make you crumble mentally, and you can hold on to it, and it's like you can't shake that little moments off, and then it starts to build and it starts to get worse. But if you can shake that off, bang, reset, okay, that happened, but it's gone now, boom, bang, bang, you're back in it, you find the flow again, you've overcome the moments. And it could even be before the punch is being thrown, it could be when you're warming up in the back. You look over at him and you think, and you get them butterflies, and you're thinking, when them thoughts are creeping in, he's got big calves. Can you overcome that moment and say, okay, it's all right, it doesn't matter, we're going to go and play anyway? When you're walking out there and people are screaming everywhere and that, kill him, Trevor, and you're getting in the road thinking, I want to die and Trevor out, you know what I mean? Or whatever it is. They're all the moments, Dan, and it's hard, innit? There's different moments, and it's trying to deal with them.
Let me just quickly say this. Like, I don't mean this as a literal thing. Like, we have some of the worst fans ever, the combat sports world. But as far as what is real and reality, and then what is just, you know, something that's out in the clouds, there's such a big spectrum for what that is in our world. Because that's why I see, like, the way that the fighters are and the guys that have been doing it, you know, through tooth and nail, and they're in a position where they are in the UFC or with any other big organization, and seeing the way they walk around, and then you get some people who just walk around and they think that, you know, they could throw a spinning kick 17,000 times and there's this, that, and the other, and you're like, but that's how I know that you don't know physically what the human body can do. Because if you understood that, then you would be more relatable to me. This is why I always say that it's hard to have conversations with people unless they've actually. At least about that, anyway.
I seem to find that people who can actually fight understand the dangers of it, and understand the limitations of it, and understand like the reality of it. And people who can't, they're the ones who just fucking live in this make-believe world, brother, where it's like, yeah, lad, you know, I've had it before where, like, I've been beaten, got out, and lad, I'd just dying there, lad, didn't you should have hit him with that left hook, and your face is out there, and you're just like, bro, just get in there, man, and try. You know what I mean? It's not that easy when it's in front of you. It really isn't. And I think that's all part and parcel of just experience and knowing, like, you know. And I feel like as well, like the losses, they do teach you that as well, where you're like, that is the reality of the sport, and you can lose, and if you're not prepared to lose, don't take part.
Yeah, it's brutal. Come on, I've been knocked down from TV in front of my mum and all that, bro, and it's ruthless.
I want to come to that. We're gonna get to there, because I just feel like we're warming into this now, baby.
Okay.
Boxing. Did you have how many amateur bouts did you have? Did you have a few?
What did I have? 60, 70, 78 or something like that.
Did you, yeah?
Yeah. And then some pro after that.
I've missed a gap in my research there, man. I didn't see that. Yeah, so I knew you turned pro, but I didn't know you had that many amateur bouts, yeah?
Yeah, just at different places.
Crazy,
down in Bristol where it started. Then I come up here, I was with Damien Ridpath. Then I gone across, spent a little bit of time, Rotunda, Kirby. And then I was training with Alex Moon when I just turned pro down in Kirby Baths. That's where I used to live down there, Rufford Drive. I think people don't even know that about me, bro. Like when I first moved up here, it was Widnes, innit? Then it was
not the Tropical.
Then I
landed the Kirby and went, wow, shit.
This is a real wake up call. I was like, I'm back in the ends. They were walking around with pitties and all that, balaclava up and that. I was like, all right.
Man found his way, but that's okay.
What's happening, boys? You good?
Yeah.
Go down to the Townie. The old Townie and all that.
Townie, bro, yeah.
The L32.
Yeah, L32.
Yeah, right, bro. And then I moved up to the south end of Liverpool, so everywhere from, you know, Mossley Hill.
Yeah, Speak, all that type of way. Garston,
Egbert.
A bit more of the posher part, innit? Egbert and that, but then there's the rougher ends as well, down towards Speak, and that, it all depends what end of that city you're at. There's two worlds down that end, isn't there?
Yeah, 100%.
You turn professional. When you turn professional, Dan, did you have 4 fights? Did you? 4 pro fights, won 3, lost 1.
Yeah.
Got that right
You
anyway.
got that, yeah. That was I think the one that I lost was a hard one to take because like I had obviously turned pro, realized I started getting paid money for it, and it was like, oh, hang on, this is where stuff actually can be like, you know, it can have an impact on your life like daily. So I'm like, all right, so what is that I'm doing? And I come out and I had this fight, realized I went out to Southampton, I had a fight with this kid. It was a hell of a close fight anyway. And then they literally just turn around biasly, just give it to this other kid. And I was like, what? How's that even happened? And it like really got me.
Boxing, that's the world of boxing for you, man. You see it. Sometimes you think, wow, are you watching the same fight? But it's cut up from the bottom to the top, innit? The amount of bouts you see through all the levels where you're like, wow, did they give that to him? But you know when you're out about whether you won and whether you've lost. And as an amateur, decisions don't really matter like that too much because it's like, I know I beat him, so it is what it is. It's an L on the card, but it's not in your heart. You know you won. But when it's a professional game and there's a paycheck on the line, it's like you're taking the piss. I've killed myself, I've trained, you know, and now I've got a loss on my record, and it's not good for the growth, like, is it?
No.
They say records are for DJs and all that, but you won't pay them, don't you?
Can't spin these records, mate. I swear down, like I was in a position where like obviously that happened, and I went back and I found myself getting like emotionally distressed. You know, crying backstage in the changes, and I'm like, fuck it, I've had enough of this shit. I don't want to do this no more.
It's a hard sport, isn't it?
Yeah, again, it's but that's why I suppose that's why only the 1% can do it. Is because the adversity and the ups and downs that you will take will be enough to either send you into early grave or put you on top of the world where you're untouchable. It's trying to find that middle ground and being happy and knowing that what it is you're doing right now is what you're doing right now for the rest of your life. Do you understand me? To set things up to ultimately, this is just a chapter. I'm not going to be doing this when I'm 43.
There's growth as well, regardless, isn't there, Dan? No matter what, bro. Like, you win, there's growth. If you lose, there's growth. Because either way, you're challenging yourself, and it's the rawest way, for me, I think, for a man or for a human being to challenge themselves to do what you do. Yeah. And, like, I take my hat off to you, bro. Credit where credit's due, because it's the real stuff. And life throws many challenges at us, and there's many different hurdles and different obstacles and different aspects that we come up against, but we're putting it all on a line with another man in under the lights in an arena for the whole world to see. It's the biggest test, I think, that we can possibly go through.
Yeah. Well, again, I've spoke on this. I'm actually doing a little public talk in the Wirral Wellness Festival.
Okay.
Over in the Wirral, June 15th. I'll be there, Father's Day. And again, it was surrounded around men's mental health. I'll be one of the public talkers there to be able to just explain a few things and try and give people like a little bit of a system to what I've used in my life to be able to help me get to where I've needed to get. And again, you know, reframing that all around your own personal success and not pinpoint on anything else that you've seen around for any sort of social influence or, you know, the person stood next to you, anything like that. But as we go on to that, start to talk about it, and it's like, all right, so how do we end up here in the first place, and what is it that we do to get us to where we are? Ultimately, adversity will help us overcome things and see what we're meant to do or what we're not meant to do. It will obviously show the substance of who you are as a person and your character to be able to let you know. Now,
it reveals us.
Yeah, I only ever look at the past to see the things that I've overcome. For me, that shows the substance of who I need to be for tomorrow, for that next chapter, or for the next step in what it is that I need to overcome.
The past provides belief, doesn't it, brother?
Oh, 1,000,000%. And
you look back, and sometimes it rocks you. You think, fuck, I failed there, come up short there. And then you've got to think to yourself, okay, well, if I'm to do that again, I know I've got to try harder. I know I've got to approach this differently this time. I'm going to have another go. Yeah. But I never quite got it right the first time, so I'm going to need to get up a bit earlier. I'm going to need to train a bit harder. I'm going to need to do a little bit more of that or do a little bit less of that. But either which way, I'm going to have to adjust some shit to renegotiate, to try and have another go at this. Or you say, I've done that and I've done it well. It was difficult. So I know I've just got to basically repeat that same procedure, and I'm 9 times out of 10, you're going to get the same result, innit? You know what I mean? And until it doesn't work. And then
reevaluate it.
One has to adjust things then.
You say, for the most part, if you've been on a winning formula before in the past for other problems or principles, then you're going to do the same thing again with it. Yeah. It's what you know. It's tried and tested system, right? So you go and do that. So it's like the one time that I remember, you know, vividly in the forefront of my mind was when I first got in the UFC. my debut was in Cosmopolitan in Vegas, and then we were staying in the MGM Signature hotels. I don't know if you've seen them. They're like the 3 towers, and they're like it's like an apartment block, but you can guarantee, even though it's on a strip, you go and stay in them apartments, and you can't hear any noise from outside, considering that you're on the strip. So it's like you're just kind of like off grid. Anyway, staying somewhere at the top, got a big massive room, got like a what do you call it? Just like a
panoramic view.
It was huge. Got my own like hot tub and all that in the bedroom and all that. It's all
sweet.
Yeah, sweet. That's it. It's all open plan and that. And then my mate stood there with me, Adam Ramsey, and he like sometimes you have to hear from other people.
To pinch me moments, innit, brother?
Yeah, you got to hear from other people sometimes. Go out, win that fight. Submitted to an American in the first round.
Okay. Before we get to there, Dan, I've got to get a little bit fit. We've got to go back to go forward here because I want all the feels for that shit.
Okay.
How did MMA find you? How did you find yourself? How did the transition from boxing to MMA happen? What happened there?
Boxing to MMA was literally that. Like I said to you, with that fight that I had where I went back. I found myself being emotionally distressed based upon the fact that, I'd lost the fight but didn't feel like I lost the fight. So all of a sudden it was like there was favoritism in the room. There was favoritism everywhere I was looking, and it was like it really got me riled up to the point where I wanted to take a step back. And football did that for me when I was younger. When I used to play football locally, it'd be like, all right, well, I play football on a Saturday, and if we've lost a game and I'm still feeling like venomous come Wednesday, there's something wrong with me here because I can't. This it's not in my control, but I'm letting it get to me. So I didn't want to be like that. I wanted something that was a bit more pure, or something that she could also show me a way. And at the same time, I was training in the 051 as a pro boxer, using that gym there and the local stable, and then I ended up getting asked to go downstairs to Next Gen and going and being like a pad man there, a bit of a boxing coach. So I kind of made that transition to go down there. I was working alongside Paul Rimmer and all the guys in there, Paddy and all that. And more or less just took me under the wing, showed me what was what. I had a little bit of a gamble and a bet to roll around on the floor, Chris Fish Gold, and I held my own for 5 minutes. Then it was just like, all right, fine, well, as an athlete, maybe this is the way. Maybe this is the way. So I was like, yeah. I started like this. I was like, all right, cool. Now I get to use more than just 2 hands. I've got 8 limbs, knees, elbows, the lot. Let's go. So yeah, just started training. Rimmer got me, I say, up to scratch with jiu-jitsu, but at the time, he got me mustard off my back. It was like, all right, well, if someone's going to take you down, then we're going to make sure that you can submit them.
You've got to be much more well-rounded as an MMA fighter, haven't you, Dan? You know what I mean? There's so many different facets to it, and you've got to really know your way around in there, because if you don't, man, you're going to get smoked.
Yeah, you'll get found out quick.
Quick time.
I mean? And then again, for me, they always say this decision-making is key. So it's how quick can you make the right decision off the cuff, split second.
Split second decision.
This is one of the reasons why some of the best in the world are able to do that. And it makes them part of the 1% in the whole.
So it separates them, bro, isn't it?
The whole
it's how the
population.
mind works when they're in there. Can you do it? Can you make them decisions in that time under all that pressure?
Of course. That's what it is. It's massive. When you think about it, it's huge. And then if you was to watch any one of them perform and see how the brain correlates neurologically to the physical assets based upon the fact of all the anatomies that they have that playing a factor, and then get someone else to just jump in, a normal person who's sitting from the crowd. Can't
even try and take the moments in, let alone operate in it. It's
exactly
fucking insane.
Most people crumble before they walk, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right?
That's
like, I can't go in, I can't move,
go in,
freeze.
Yeah. Even feeling the canvas under your feet and stuff like that when you're actually in there, it's like that's an
soft mattress, right? It just it can suck the energy from you. You either go in there and you're so level to a point where like you use all of that energy to help you fly, or it's like it would be like quicksand real quick. You know what I mean? Like you just feel it pulling you in, and you're looking up, you see the lights and all that. Plenty of times boxing, that's how it used to be. I think, oh my God, I can bounce around in a session for an hour on this canvas.
I'm fucked now.
10 minutes, I'm like, really lagging in that.
Yeah, why am I gassing here? It's only the end of the second and I've been banging in the gym for ages, but it's the nerves, it zaps you.
Yeah.
It can fuck you, can't it?
It says cortisol, isn't it? Cortisol, I think it's something like that. Like cortisol comes in, how well your body can basically
react to that.
Yeah, deal with it, process it or not, then that's kind of like the outcome that you get. Either you're going to go flat or you're going to be the person who can deal with cortisol very well. and that actually helps you rise. You know
There can be like a numbness, can't there, when you're there, like where you just feel a bit like, whoa, you're just going through the motions type of thing. You're in here and it's all happening and you're there, it's in front of you, but it's like, whoa, it's go time, but you're trying to take the moments in it. It's hard to try and put it into words. You had an early career as a professional, you had a fantastic start, amassing a record of 11 wins with only 1 loss. And your pro debut was against a guy called Darius Knesevic. Why are all the guys who you thought got hard names to pronounce as well? Don't just fight some normal guys, man. Nah,
Danny Roberts.
I was having a look at the names. But yeah, you went on a 5-win streak straight from the off, didn't you? Before you had a loss, you fell short against Pavel Dorofsky.
Pavel Dorofsky. Yeah, he was like I don't know, Polish, or I think he was Serbian or something like that. He was a Sambo champion, had come over. His record was like 17-1. But obviously at that time, people could have their records very so slightly edited or go into a different...
yeah, they were switching shit up.
Yeah, and he came across, and I think everyone knew that he had a high record, but not 17-1. And so after he found out, and I think I lost that fight in like a tournament basis kind of setting. It was called... I forgot what it was called, but it was based up in Manchester, up in the Bowlers Arena, is it?
The Bowlers.
The bike place, yeah. So we, I meant to have 3 fights in one night. They were exhibition rounds, so it was 2 5-minute rounds. Each fight was 2 5 minutes. I did the first 2, and then fought him, and then got fucked. He basically got me with it inverted, picked me up, flipped me upside down, got me an inverted leg lock, and then just basically just took me ACL, and I was just like, I was fucked for a little bit, and then I go back through that whole emotional torment type thing that I had when I was a pro boxer. Remember, gets on the phone to me.
Back to the start.
Yeah, he had a little chat with me, like, you need to put that to bed. That he said, like, you're better than that, and you can actually see greater, bigger things. So he said, just, stick with it, and I'm sure the cream always rises to the top. So you're gonna be okay. And it was like after a week or whatever of being at home crying like a bitch and that.
Yeah, you've licked your wounds and your back, man. You're like,
sort myself out, and I was like, all right, what's the next challenge? So we went, boom, let's go. I think we got signed to Cage Warriors, and I think my debut fight in there was Jack Mason. He was like, he was a pioneer of the sport at the time, just going around mulling people over like a big bulldozer. Do you know what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, this is what I actually need, something to rise to the table for. And
how did you feel going into a fight like that then? Mentally and stuff like that? But did you feel ready for a fight like that? Did you have fear? No, with him coming in with that type of record, he was just smashing everyone to bits. Was you going in there thinking, ooh, or did you feel like, yeah, I'm keen, I want to smash him?
Yeah, the latter. There's a certain principle about what it is that you said and what it is that you, as in the way that you think, that is even going to show you that you can have your success in that moment or not. Now, for me, there wasn't 1 minute or one part of me where my perception was doubt. It was like, it's a challenge. It's a big cake. Let's see if I can finish it. Let's go. I'm like, all right. So sit down and obviously get the phone call. It gets me excited. And if it gets me excited, then guess what? You're waking me up early now. And you're making me go to bed late, and I'm thinking about you, bro. I'm like, yeah, it's a horrible, disturbing, like, kind of like dynamic with it, but it's real. It's real. And when it comes, it's like, it's something that you don't want me to be. And if I am that way, then you don't understand you're going to get the best version. So that's literally what happened with Jack. He got the best version of me based upon the fact that he was that exciting matchup. He was that step up that I really wanted and relished at the time. Yeah, so it done exactly what I needed to do. I was in the gym every day. I was doing everything I needed to be doing. I've become a little bit obsessive over who he was as a character, as a fighter. His longevity within the sport and what he had done, win, lose or draw. He was just some big tank who everyone knew about. He was just going around. He'd either take out this international competition or he wouldn't. And that was who he was. But he had a fantastic name. He was up there. He was one of the pioneers of the UK at the time. And for me, it was like, again, old school versus new school. So it was like time for you to step up, Dan. Let's see what you got. And everything just came to fruition when obviously I won that fight.
Cage Warriors was like the start of it, because you ended up finishing up at Cage Warriors when you got the win over Jim Wallhead.
That was in the Echo, yeah. I remember that. That was electric. That
was that a moment?
It was a career highlight for me. That career highlight, regardless whether it was UFC or Cage Warriors or anywhere. Olympia, OMAC, whatever it is, like that just because of where it was, how it happened. Main event, Echo Arena, you know, place was rammed. Loads of people up from down London, from Bristol, you know what I mean? So it's, for me, it's a rejoiceful moment of being able to, all the sacrifices, all them dark days, all them lonely times of being able to get all my people in one place to enjoy one moment at exactly the same second was special. So I could never, ever take that away. And especially where the fight ended. You know, for me, it was major.
At the end of that fight, Dan, could you feel, obviously the UFC was next, but before that, before we get there, could you feel that change was coming? Did you think, did you feel like, was there an air of, we're going to go the next level here? Was there that hype, was there that vibe around it? Do you know what I mean? After it, was you like, man's doing bits, like you knew, knew. It's gonna happen.
I understand what you're saying, but if I'm completely honest, I didn't. It was at that time I was so obsessed with just taking each fight as it comes. I was never looking too far in front. I just knew that I was doing special things because I think at the time I was unbeaten in Cage Warriors, or like I was 6-0.
You was, yeah, you were unbeaten.
Yeah, I was in a position where I was like knocking on the door for a title because I just beat number 1 in the UK, which then made me number 1. So then I was like, all right, so you've got the title. This still I want to fight with. It was some foreign guy, someone from overseas. I'm like, all right, well let's make this fight happen, and then we'll see what goes on from there. At the time, I wasn't even interested in going anywhere else as well. I thought I needed, like, you know, maybe some more time doing what I was doing or being where I was. I don't know.
This is a question that I've been longing to ask you. I want you to give me all the feels for this one. How did the call for the UFC come in? What happened, bro? Where were you?
That was insane. That's insane. So, you can imagine, right? I'm with Cage Warriors. I'm 6-0 with Cage Warriors. Cage Warriors, at the time, the company went into liquidation or they weren't around. They had to, if anybody using the MMA game understand, they know for like, I don't know, to stopgap 2 years or whatever, Cage Warriors wasn't really there. So within that time, I had somebody from Holland hit me up. And he, if you will, was like a talent scout. And he was like, boom, got this guy in America who's got this major gym, the Black Zillions. They want to get you over there. They want you training with them. And they would like to try and get you into the Black Zillions versus ATT as their international host who could come over and represent them and their colours and their brand and go in and do what you got to do. And I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, sounds amazing. I've never been to America before in my life. Plus, I got a little criminal record. I probably can't go there. All right, leave that with us. We'll see if we can get something sorted and get that fixed up. Anyway, end up going and getting a consulate package together and all that. And, you know, one thing came to the next that they ended up getting me sorted and just got that cleared, went over. And again, it was only something mindless stuff from when I was a kid and like getting in trouble fights and all that, you know what I mean, and getting nicked and getting sent home and getting cautions and that's what it was.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it was still for the wrong stuff. So then they got me over to the States. And then when I go over to the States...
Where did you land?
Florida. Land in Florida. And then end up going up to... Where was it? And I go to Boca Raton. End up start training there.
Jeez.
I know. Sun, sea, palm trees. It was heaven. And it was like, all of a sudden, it was like, I'd gone
What's going through your mind here, brother?
Come on, I'm a kid that comes from a cancer state, brother. Like, for me to all of a sudden jump into my TV set, was just like, wow, looking around thinking, where am I? This is insane. Everything was different, but yeah, it felt so familiar because a lot of things that I've been watching had already been there's Americanized TV for us.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Apart from our sitcoms and all that we watch, you know, your EastEnders.
You were there?
Coronation Street. Yeah, this is different. I'm on the TV now. I'm in the set. I'm looking at these you know, Broadway signs and all that. It just looked different. It was mad. It's surreal. And then I really got to understand that my placement, and this is what I'm saying, this was after the breakdown. This is after all the emotional torment and psychological issues that I'd had been and passed. But I was still in a position where I'm still working. I'm still refining. I'm still getting to know myself continuously, ever growing. That I really started to get to understand. I'm like, yo, you're a kid that's lived in four different cities. Now you're overseas. This is meant for you. Everything you've been built up is for exactly who you are. Look around you. You got 28 different nationalities. You got 8 different spoken languages all in one room. This is who you're meant to be. Like, you got to understand some of the things that you've been through, bro.
It all led you there.
Yeah, just bang. And it's like a slap in the face. It was like, hang on, you was never alone. You were just meant for something, for a greater purpose and a high level. Like, and here we are. So just enjoy it, take it in, absorb it, and then it was like the like-mindedness in the room and the common goals and the individuality that we all had, but yet unity was just unmatched, unleveled, and still the same people still together now to this day, even though the gym's altered and changed his name slightly and done this, that, and the other. The coaches, Henry Hooft, Greg Jones, G. Michael Johnson's, like everyone's there. Kamara's, there's loads of people.
Osman, man,
the fattest gym going.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just nice to go over there, be there, doing my thing. And then, like I say, that whole UFC and getting the ticket to the UFC, I was out there training for 6 months. Time that I was training for 6 months, I just missed the call up to go into ATT versus Black Zillions.
Did you feel like you belonged there, Dan, when you were there? You know, like when you were like the likes of Usman and that, was that like a little bit of a like, whoa, or was it like, I belong here?
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing. And then I actually, like, I had people around me that come over to come and train, because obviously I was there and I could help now facilitate that avenue. Yeah. All right, Dan, what's going on? Can we come over? Yeah, obviously, they sit on the step, come over for a week or 2 weeks to come over and train. But they walk in the room, and compared to me, they have this sense of the aura of wow.
I'm with Dan, yeah. Wait,
you know what I mean? For me, it was like I've fought for my place to get there. Everything that I've done has made me for this. I've dreamt about this. So it was very much a perfect fitting when I got there.
You belong there.
Yeah.
You weren't like you were out of place, or you're looking at these other fighters thinking, whoa, it's like you're there and you're like, I'm supposed to be here, man.
Yeah, but I'm also very grateful for that. I'm also very grateful for the way that I fought beforehand, because then all of a sudden it got genuine vibes back. You know what I mean? It was you know, a genuine kind of energies. Yeah. People are going to come over to you and speak to you based upon the fact that the energy that they see, and they want to reciprocate it. Not a case of it's false, or it's too much overexcitement, or you're only around me because you know my name. And
you're real and you were working, bro, and they were real and they were working. You all had a common goal, man. It's like all the people who are here for a reason, man.
Synergy, exactly the same mindset, bro. We were all doing the same thing, same different guys, but with the same problems. You know what I mean? So all of a sudden it was like, even like little things, the little moments of it being quiet and you being alone because you're doing something that other people aren't. These guys are doing the same thing.
Synchronized, man.
So they get on the phone, what, Dan, what up to, yeah? All right, well, would you finish gym later on and you want to come around to ours, we'll have some food and ours, I'll drop you back off later. I'm like, yeah, sample. Well, I wouldn't get that when I was back home in the UK.
No, because your man's going out partying or eating pizzas and shit, and that's not about, you're not about that life. Do you know what I mean?
Different, yeah, completely different, bro. So even me, Kamara, for example, got a great relationship. He's a good guy. Been up to his in Denver and helped him train and stuff like that and get ready for fights. And then even to the point now where it's like I'm back at home, I'm training back at home, getting ready for the next fight. Again, it is what it is, bro. You make the bonds and relationships with people based upon who you are. Now, I'm not somebody who has animosity or has a vindictive kind of persona towards anyone. I also feel that we are all on our own paths, living our own lives. So each to their own, and I wish everyone the greatest success on their own ability, and you know
where you are, accepting where you are and just going with it and growing with it. And my level of success may be different to yours, but as long as I'm getting better and I'm improving and I'm on the incline, then it's all good.
That's all that matters.
Doing the same
That's
thing.
all that matters, because no one's going to see life the way you see life through your eyes.
No.
One of the realest quotes I seen the other day was something that was nuts and just blew my mind. And it was like, you understand there's 1,000 versions of you, and you're like, what? How? And it's like, no, there's 1,000 versions of you because every single person that is around you sees you as a different image of what you see yourself as. So you might see yourself as this person. The person next to you sees you as this person. The person next to them sees them as, you understand?
The only one that matters is the one that you see.
Of course.
Crazy,
everything else is just an opinion, right? So it's like the simple analogy of what that is. If we really, really simplify it, there's only one thing that really, truly matters right now. And that's what I think, right? Everything else is either going to be a compliment or it's not. And if it's not, it's just going to be an opinion.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. It doesn't need to concern you because, again, you're not...
The Black Zillions and the TAs or whatever it was, you missed out slightly. What happened? How did the UFC come calling, baby?
I got like a little inclination where someone had turned around and said to me, all right, well, you know, you're probably going to be one of the favourites to win that at the time. I think I'd gone in at 11-1. There was guys in there that were like 3-1, 4-2 and stuff like that. So I actually did have one of the highest records there. Kamaru Usman went in it, and obviously he won it as well. So that's what was the start of his major career. Yeah. So I don't think any of the same team could have fought on that. But if they did, that would have been the problem for me 100% because it's just an absolute monster. It's so strong. But yeah, got the scope, was sitting on the bench waiting, still training true to myself, doing my thing. Next thing, the manager who actually got me over to the gym in the first place gives me a call, and he's like, "Oh, do you wanna come into the office?" At this time, partner who's pregnant with, or was pregnant with Clay, my son, yeah. At the time, I had a phone call off her, and I'd left the UK 6 months ago to go over there and to go and put all my eggs into one basket. And she was like, "I'm like pregnant, I'm ready to drop, but I want you to go and do your thing." It's like, "Oh, come, like different. Go over to the States, go and do what I got to do." Next thing, I get called into the office, sitting down in the office, and then I get a phone call, and it's like, "All right, well, yeah, it's UFC, Sean Shelby, whatever." And I'm like on the phone, I'm like, "Hello?" I'm like, "What's this?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's Danny Roberts. Just like to let you know, we would like you to be a part of the UFC, and we're gonna look to get you a fight." And I'm like, "Oh my days, oh my days!" And become overwhelmed with that again. A kid that came from absolutely zilch, and then phone me and said, "Hello, yeah, oh my God, what? In an hour?" So my son's gonna be born in the next hour. And then I've just gotten a UFC 2 tickets for winning in the lottery, my own personal lottery, right? There and then, just, I can't even, it's one of the happiest times of my life. Because you got to understand from everything, that trials and tribulations of what I've come from, and then understanding.
From the start of the story,
understanding that I've got a son that's going to be born, and that I want to be the perfect father, my guy. I want to be the perfect father figure to him. And now I've got the opportunity for all the strife, the pain, the anguish, and what's been channeled into, to now be able to really, have some sort of...
Things happen for a reason, man.
No, people will turn around and say things like this, but like...
Do you know when you put the phones down, Dan? Can you try and put them moments into words for me?
For me, it was like... I'm imagining every little piece of happiness that I'd had to lead up to that point, right? Regardless of all of what life's errors, trials and tribulations wanted to be put in the way, hurdles, all of that. If I got every single piece of happiness that I'd ever had, from my birthdays from when I was a kid to Christmases to being out with my mates, all of that, and comprised and compressed all of that into one, that wouldn't even come close to it. Like literally, it wouldn't even come close to it. For me, it was like a rebirth. And being at the age where I'm aware of it. Do you understand me? I'm getting that reset button, and it's going right now. This is where I'm in charge. I can dictate. I can be who I want to be at whatever capacity that I believe I can be it. And I also get to be able to now provide an avenue and an awareness to a younger version of myself, who is going to be the only thing that is going to be left after I'm gone.
This is a proper story.
Do you understand me? Yes,
this
it is.
Is a proper story, man.
I'm
my
like,
guy.
Appreciate it,
this shit's serious.
Appreciate it, bro.
When you were out in the States and your missus was about to have your little boy, was she about to have your boy here in the UK?
Yeah.
So you're not there either?
No.
Is that a mixed emotion for you?
Yeah, huge.
Because even though it's about to happen, but you couldn't be in the two places at the same time. You would never have made the UFC if you would have been at home here. But so was that like one of them, like, wow, she's about to have the baby and stuff like that?
That's why, like, I kudos.
And we go again with sacrifice.
Yeah. Because I like, again, them little small, whatever you want to call it, little fragments, them little sprinkles of whatever like adversity that had impacted and had been a part of who I was to get me to that stage, had also prepped me and got me ready for what was next. So it was like, hang on, you've sacrificed that much to be where you are right now, and now you're going to miss the birth of your son to be able to get to where you need to get, to understand that then in situ it's gonna return back.
It's testing. It's all like a test to see if you can, and you've just went bing, 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 bing,
yeah.
onto the next. From there now, when you put the phone down, that call's coming for the UFC, you're elated. What happens next? How do you get from being in the gym to debut moment where you're walking out, you're there, it's the UFC, it's the big thing. When that moment came and you were making the UFC debut, like, try and walk me through that experience. What was that like? Because you were supposed to fight Michael Graves, weren't you, in your debut, but he was pulled on an injury and you ended up fighting Nathan Coyne. You won with a technical submission in the first round.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a dream debut, innit? First round win.
I'll tell you what though, my batteries were flat when I come out of that. It one round, bro. I can go out now and I can go and do 3 5s and all that, And no matter how exerting the fight is at the time, I come out and I'm fine. You know what I mean? I done one round in that fight, and the pretense to what it was and where I was, the platform, almost like entering the UFC game. What we see on our screen, all of a sudden now
Gladiators, bro. Modern day gladiators, man.
Yeah.
You fucking, honest to God, it's an honor to share the room with you, bro. It's the elite, innit? You know, that's where it's at. Like, some people get, like, you're tried and tested there as well, then. You've been there for years. It's like some people get to that stage and you get found out.
Yeah.
Sink or swim, man.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you've swam. And you've been in there and you've done it at that level.
Yeah. I like it. Don't get me wrong. There's still, I've got losses on my record. I've got stuff that...
Yeah, but you've came again.
Yeah.
And we'll touch on that.
Yeah.
We'll touch on that a little bit. Fuck it, let's touch on it now. I seen you put a post up saying, in victory our friends know us, in defeat we know our friends.
Yeah, real talk.
What a quote, man. And, you know, adversity, I believe, this is just my belief, this is only an opinion, but I think you can't call yourself a true fighter unless you've won and you've lost, and you've been on both ends of that spectrum. You've won in the greatest of fashions, and you've also lost in the worst ways.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what makes a true fighter, bro. And you really are, you know. And I was always raised on, if you can't take it, don't give it. And don't go looking for trouble, because trouble will come for you.
Yeah, well, too.
And them two things have never served me wrong, and it's true. Can't give it. I mean, can't take it, don't give it. And you can do both. You can give it and you can take it. And for me, you know, even like coming off the back of the losses, you still wear your ass on your sleeve, and the style you're fighting and stuff like that. Nothing but respect, bro, because you're a gladiator. You're a true warrior, because you go out with your heart on your sleeve and you go out on your shield. If you lose, you lose, and if you win, you win.
Yeah.
And I can only respect that. Anyone can only respect that.
Yeah, but the easiest way for me to be able to try and help understand that situation and the way you just said it is, from my perspective, I'm trying to normalize what it is that I do, in a sense that I don't want to be deemed as this great guy, this, that, and the other, right?
No, I understand that.
Maybe an aspect of what it is I actually do, all right, and how fast I can punch, or how hard I can hit, or how fast I can move, fine, right? But in a sense of understanding what it is that I do, win, lose, or draw, we get up, we move forward, we stay driven, we stay true to our course.
That's what
and
I
path.
respect about you, bro, the most. Not your athletic performance, yeah. It blows me mind, it amazes me when I watch someone perform at that level. But it's what it takes to get in there at that level, and it's the knowing how it could turn out, and how it does turn out, and has turned out, and coming again. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And some people don't come again, bro. They can't. They haven't got the mental fortitude to come again. They haven't got the capacity to come again. They don't know how to rebuild or reset or to do that walk again. When you're walking to that cage after a loss like that, to suck it up and go, gonna start again, man, and you're walking there again, and then them things, surely there must be doubt. Surely you must have a vision in your head like, well, this is how it happened last time, and you've got to overcome that. And that's where I've got mad respect, because that takes some going, and that's a character. That to me is the definition of, without trying to like big it up the way you said at the start. A lot of people do big things up on socials and stuff like that now. I think that's the truest test of who we are, and can you come again? And you can, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's that.
That's a journey in itself, right? And it's a journey to understanding who you really are, what substance, the fabric of who you are.
And that transitions into all forms of life, because when fighting's long gone for you, whether that be 10 years, 15 years, whenever that is, you will teach that to your children and their morals. And if they come up and they feel fear, or you'll be able to stand there and say to them, or could be someone who knows it, it could be me, I could kick in and go, Dan, look, I've got an issue here, and you could turn around and go, look, brother, this is how you deal with that. Or try and give someone advice, but you're giving advice from a place of experience, not from a place of just trying to put together some sort of knowledge. And also in other avenues of life for yourself, if you come up against an obstacle later on in life, you'll be able to use that transfer of skills and be like, well, I've been there before, because remember when I done that, or remember when I lost and I had to come back from that. And you'll be able to use it in all walks of life, bro, and that's growth.
Yeah, real talk. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Is like we turned around and said about how if there's any time where I find myself in a moment or spot of uncertainty or difficulty, if I look back at the past, it's only to look and realize what it is I've already done, that I've already overcome, which is far more bigger than what it is to me at that moment, or whatever it is that I'm dealing with in that moment. And as soon as I get that, it gives me the reassurance to know that I can do it, that I can overcome, I can be better, I can be at 1%, more than what I was yesterday. And, in that moment, that's all I need to be able to help me get past, help me get over that hurdle and get to the next destination, you know what I'm saying? And again, when it's all said and done, I know there's going to be a long trail of this shit. He's back and forth, he's up and downs, but nevertheless, just like cryptocurrency, bro, we're going to continue. We're going to continue to go. Yeah, we're going to go up. We're going to keep going up, bro. Watch. So it's like, that's all that matters.
After the UFC debut, the next stop for me, this one just fucking mind blowing. It was UFC 197.
Oh, John Jones and OSB.
I was having a little look at the statistics of this, and you're on the undercard of John Jones, OSP. Bruce Buffer's the ring announcer.
Yeah.
You've got Joe Rogan and Mike Goldberg. There's 11,500 in attendance. It's on pay-per-view on Fox Sports, and you get a fight of the night bonus in a back and forth with a unanimous decision. Brother, if that's not what dreams are made of, fucking I don't know what is.
Yeah, nah, even as you just said it then, it's just like, it's Apple, it says to my eye then, bro. Like, that for me was, that was a mountain to climb. Like, I talk about Clay being born and baby mum and stuff like that. They were out in the States with me at that time. They both got ill, like majorly ill, to the point where she had got to the hospital and I had to be put on a drip, so did the baby. Henry Hooft's wife looked after, and his daughter looked after my baby while I was going over to Vegas. I was ill. I was being sick at the bottom end and the top end. All that fight week, so cutting weight was no problem whatsoever.
Yeah, because you were already well there.
But trying to be on point for that fight was the hardest thing ever. So that was do or die survival, right? If I want to get through this, I've got to treat it like it's a matter of life and death. And that's what that was, against a big monster who came in at like 215 pounds the next day, cut 30 pounds in 1 week, picked me up, slammed me on the floor like I was an empty tracksuit. Like, there's no way that I can try and put that into perspective without feeling the energy being in there.
When you're in that arena, Dan, and you're in that actual moment there, try and put yourself back there now, your feet are on the canvas and all them people are there. What was that feeling like, brother?
It was surreal. I'm not going to lie, it was surreal. It was, I'd spent plenty of times, moments, nights, mornings, daydreaming on the bus, of me reaching and attaining the highest heights, but never could I have pieced together the whole.
It's the mecca of the fight world.
Of course, the MGM, I'm looking around and like everything's coming together. I see people literally stuck to the walls because it's that steep in there. Obviously, it's an underground arena. I'm looking around, obviously, like you say, Bruce Buffer, and you got Joe Rogan and all that there.
Do you know when you heard Bruce Buffer announcing your name?
Yeah.
What was that like?
I don't think there's anybody else. Like,
he's the Don, lads. He's the Don. Fuck everyone else.
Yeah,
I don't care who you are or where.
Hey, there's no
one.
one.
Millions in attendance, thousands in attendance, and millions around the world. Lad, he's the keys. If you're a fighter, I don't care what walk of life you're from or where you're from. If he's calling your name out, lad, it's the big time. They're the moments.
Yeah, I don't think there's any.
There's no one else, bro. There's nothing bigger.
There's no other voice in the world that can say it, and then you feel a certain type of way.
He's the guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's that hairs on your next stand-up moment. Yeah. It's the one, innit? And that little boy man from Croydon who was standing there looking in that mirror saying, oh, this isn't going to fucking go out like this. I'm going to make a change. Well, there's the moment, bro, if you did.
Yeah, real talk. Again, it's just surreal. It's just surreal when you look at it like that. And that's the thing. As humans and who we are, we don't give ourselves enough time to look at the wins that we've actually had. You understand me? And it's moments like this right now, sitting here with you, and then you just
reflecting on it, and
yeah, just putting stuff into. You've empowered the rest of my day. Thank you very much. I'm gonna be smiling from ear to ear, and just thinking about the things that I've had done and
you've achieved from shit, man.
Achieved, yeah, literally from shit. If anything, negative. You know what I mean? We've had to climb out of the hole, and then
People who were in the positive, Dan couldn't have done it, bro.
Yeah.
Honest to God, they couldn't have done it. That's all that has been the groundwork. That's been the foundations for you to go and stand out there and do that, brother.
Yeah.
Honest to God, really though. That's my honest belief.
Again, I'll say this, even just a little bit. Like we've had a conversation now, and being able to converse the way we have, I've been able to give you pieces of the puzzle, which have then helped you understand the depths of who I am as a human being.
And I'm trying.
And then, as obviously then translated to this athlete that we see today, because we don't get enough time in the cage or pre-fight to be able to talk about this. Everything on social media is all just a stand in the cage or throwing some shots on mitts and stuff like that. It's nothing.
People don't know actually who you are. They just see you standing there and they see you go out and do this thing, and they just credit you for what you've done, but they don't know what you've went through to get there. They can't even physically imagine. I can't, and it's just love. I'm blessed to just sit here, listen to the story, and just share it with you and feel slightly some of them emotions that you're feeling, because it gives me a buzz, man. And like I've been waiting for this one, and these moments, what we're talking about now, like these are the big moments. It doesn't get any bigger, does it? Joe Rogan there, and you know you landed. Dana White, UFC, even them fight of the nights and stuff like that. Like when you're there, that and them moments that I seen Dana reading like
I hate getting fight of the night, by the way. Not because of the money, because I just know it's gonna be a war. And you're like, got me work cut out for me. But that's where I live, though. You know what I mean?
Man does. You're not playing, bro. No. I've seen you.
I love deep waters, bro. Pain in the ass.
And I seen like Dana White. He was looking on a board, and it was a card, and there was a few names, and you were fighting Jack Della or something on there, and he's like calling you out and that, and I'm just like, what? Like, is Dana White standing there? He's calling my man's name out, and this is the fucking big stage, innit? This is the real deal, and it's just blows me mind. You lost to Mike Perry on the 8th of October in 2016.
Oh, that was a hard pill to swallow, that one. But you know what?
He's credible opponents as well, Mike Perry.
Yeah, listen,
he's credible, bro. You know what I mean?
What's he doing now?
I know.
Just knocking heads off left, right, center. I see he just knocked out a thing in about 20 seconds, didn't he?
Smoked
Alves.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, and now he's calling Darren Till out or whatever the thing.
Oh, I've seen it. Are they having a back and forth on that or what?
I think they are, yeah. Darren come on the other day saying I'll toast you and whatever else, but let's see, it'll be revealed. But Mike's credible, bro, isn't he?
Darren's a big dude as well.
Darren is a big dude, yeah. There's a whole lot of them. Mm-hmm. But you know what? While we're on the big dude scenario, we'll talk about weight and that in a moment, but fuck, you're 6'1", man. And I was looking, thinking, does my man make 77 kilos? Because you are wham at that weight. Like,
reckon,
like,
people say that.
I'm like, jeez,
77 kilo, isn't it? 77.
77.
Yeah.
77 kilograms. I was looking, because like obviously you work in pounds.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm used to like the boxing world kilos.
Yeah.
Well, the professional boxing world's pounds as well. But I'm used to the kilograms way, and I've translated it. And I'm like, shit, he does 77 kg. Whoa.
Hey brother, if I walked in here at 77 kilo, you'd laugh at me, mate. Who's this? I swear to God, I'm looking like one of your camera stands or something like that. It's not a pretty sight, but it's what we do to be able to get the job done. And then as well as that, you got to understand there's optimal weight of performance and where we're at, and then everything after that is surplus. So it's like, all right, to get down to a weight, as long as it's within 10% of my total body weight, then apparently,
otherwise you're just
safe.
Depleting yourself.
Yeah.
So all the hard work you've put in that training camp, you just went and fucking smashed to pieces. And if you deplete yourself that much, you can't recover even in 24 hours. There's no way you're gonna be. So all the hard graft you've done, there's only a shell of the man getting in there anyway. So if you can't make the weight, there's a difference. I think I've seen Callum Smith say there's a difference between making the weight and being dead at the weight. And it's true. It's all right making it, but can you perform at the weight?
If I turn around to me myself and even just said, honestly, if there was another weight category that was in between, which, speculating that the UFC meant to be bringing it in the 175.
Yeah, because the weights are big, aren't they?
Big jumps.
Big jumps.
You can do 15-pound jumps and all that, mate. It's nuts. You go 155, then you go to 170. And then 170 to 180, that's 15-pound jumps. He stands a stone each time.
Do you know what as well, though, Dan? It's like, because it become like the thing to do was to cut weight, yeah? Every fucker's doing it. So it's like, I don't know, say you're 90 kilos now, or whatever you are. I don't know what you are, yeah?
Probably just in one hand. Look at the size of that. Disgusting, right? Got a big mitt, you kid.
Yeah. You're a unit, bro. So I say, try I better watch my P's and Q's. I said, nothing like that.
You're good.
No, yeah. On a serious note, whatever you are now, say you're 100 kilos or whatever you are, I don't know what you are, but so you have to kill yourself to make 77, yeah, and then obviously you fuel up. But you know, if you go to that next category, the other dude's probably coming from 120 to 90. So you're getting smoked. Where if everybody just went, you know what, like we won't kill ourselves, which it's an unwritten rule, everybody does. That's what's making it so hard because everybody else is doing it. So you can't go up to that next weight because you're fighting people really in the
weight above, yeah.
Because the guy in the weight above's cut to get to that weight, but then when he comes in, he's going to be massive.
Yeah.
So and this is the problem, innit? You know that some people don't understand who are in the fight world. They're like, why are you doing that to yourself? Because you want to see my man on Saturday night. That's why.
Down, stand in front of him and see what he feels like. Like if at 185, if I could walk around at 200 or say I can walk around at 210, 220, then that's fine. Now, as of right now, I'm 93 kilo.
Yeah.
And I cut down to 77 kilo, yeah? 90 is about my optimal performance weight. So that means when I'm big, I'm strong, I'm fast, I'm hitting all my markers, higher numbers than I've ever have statistically. Data's firing. Do you know what I mean? My performance, my fitness, all of that, bang on. Everything after that is when I start to get into depletion mode. And that's where everything starts to go downhill. Now, I'm in the point where I'm just playing on the border edge every time it comes to me fighting because I'm here or there.
You're just getting there again.
I'm doing 16, 17, 18 pound in 1 week for the fight. So I'm doing like almost a stone and a half in 1 week for a fight, and then coming out and having to perform.
About 7.5 kilos or something like that, man.
Coming out and having to perform the same way that I was 2-3 weeks ago in the gym. It never is the same. It never is the same.
Would you think it'd be scary if you could just for once, Dan, if you could just go out there and just perform at the way?
I've always thought about that, trust me. I think it'd be ridiculous. Like, you'd actually generally get better fights. Yeah, you would. You'd get better fights from guys.
You would, that's what I'm saying. If everyone just went, you know what, fuck it, I'll go in at 90 and I'll go in at 90, we won't cut, we'll just fucking fight. Yeah. It'd be a war, you know what I mean? But it's because you know that guy's really 115, he's come down to fucking 90 or whatever, and then you're just going to get absolutely toasted. I've got a mate who's a similar size to you, who used to box with him for years, close friend of mine. And he's built similar, and he used to be, he'd be 90 odd kilos walking around. When he comes to the end of his career, the last couple of fights, he used to do 91, but he could bang at 91. But I remember he used to make 81, and when he'd make 81, he weren't really the same fighter, you know what I mean? And he'd kill himself to make 81. And when I think they brought in 86, and 86, he was decent at 86, lad. He could bang a bit at 86, and he that was like sort of the sweet point for him, you know what I mean? 91, he'd struggle a bit because the kids were coming down, but he was a big dude. And I know what you're saying, when you'd see him at 81, he'd be a bit of a shadow of who he actually was, do you know what I mean? He'd have speed and he'd look sharp and stuff like that, but he wouldn't bang the same. I don't think he could absorb it the same either, you know what I mean?
Again, your durability changes, all that, and that's even something myself that I've noticed, because I see some of the punches that I get hit with in fights that may be of sufficient force or whatever, and then I've been hit with by guys that 2 weight categories above in the gym, and I walk straight through it. And
in sparring, you get it with some big shots, insane. And you just go, shake that off.
Yeah.
But in the ring or in the cage, in your situation,
listen, you got the gloves there. The gloves are there, mate. They're the paper thin. So that's the other thing as well. Sometimes when somebody throws one of them, it's like a hot knife through butter. You don't even feel it. It's just like, and I mean, whether you're the puncher or the guy getting punched.
That's what I've noticed as well in the UFC. Like some of the big knockouts, they don't even look much. It's like sometimes like someone will get put down. It's like that was like open palm or just come over the top, or looks like a bit of a slap, because there doesn't look much in it, because there doesn't have to be. No. If it's precise and the timing's right and the speed there, boom, just one little clip, bang, it's over. It's curtains.
Even me, I'm still going for this thing now, back and forth, where I'm a guy fight or flight mode because the way that I have been, and
that big left arm, brother. I've seen it.
But this is the thing. I will throw my stuff with bad intentions. I want to put you into the next dimension. Yeah. So it's like when I hit someone with something like that, it is not only just curtains, but it's like it's curtains.
I was watching some of your highlight reels yesterday. Big overhand left, bang. Another one like a mad left hook round the side. I was thinking that left, boy, he's got fired in the left hand. And another sick finish was like where you had your back on the cage and you had your legs wrapped around the guy and you was fucking squeezing him, put him a kip.
Was that Nathan Coy, was it?
Yeah, I think that might have been a Nathan Coy.
I think I went for a triangle, and then I ended up elevating my hips and go for the armbar.
Yeah, you've just got him good, bruv.
So he was like tied both ways. I think his arm's gone, and then he was half a kip off the triangle anyway. So I've like let go of the arm, and then gone to roll off, and he's like half a kip. Yeah.
He just stood up and walked away. It's like, whoa, it's serious sport.
It's a ruthless game, isn't it?
Yeah,
ruthless game.
It is. But that's why people pay to see it.
Of course. Again, look, listen, it's the admiration that people have for the vulnerability. I can put myself on the line time and time again and show my most vulnerable assets of who I am. And for you to sit on the other side of that cage in a seat up in the rafters, yeah, you'll give me nothing but respect and love for the way that it is that I step courageously for what I want. In the front, in the failure in the face of everything and everyone. I don't care. I'm still here to do what I need to do, regardless of the naysayers, the doubters, the people that hate, whatever it is. So for that reason, you get a lot of love on the opposite side of what it is that is negative. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, on the other side of fear is greatness, as Will Smith said, and it's the truth, bruv. You know what I mean? You've got to go through that to get there, and people will admire you, because a lot of the people who admire you, not all, because some do it and some have done it and some will do it, but 99% of them wouldn't do it, and that's why they buy a ticket, bro, and that's why they admire you, because it's kudos to him, because he'll get in there and he'll do it, you know, and that's why we love it, innit? That's why. And as horrible as it is, when you're in there, you just want to get in there and get out and get the job done and be safe, but people are buying tickets for one reason and one reason only. They want to see people get hurt, because that fucked up personality, as human beings, human nature.
Like you say,
if me and you went to watch fighting tomorrow and we turned up, bought a ticket each, and if your fight was just a proper snooze fest, you go to me, shit, that, yeah. People killing each other, and you'd be like, right, boss this, love.
I know, it's been around since Colosseum days and all that, you know what I'm saying?
Modern day gladiators, bro. How do you deal with loss? How do you deal with that adversity? Your mind frame, how do you overcome it?
Family and friends will tell you, I don't deal with it easy. And I have this little bit of a system, and that system is in place to what I've learned over the years. That system is in place to kind of bulletproof me, if you will. And I do it for the long run. What I'll do is I'll let these emotions, thoughts and feelings play out. I let them sit with me. I don't just ignore stuff and say, all right, you have to be straight-headed tomorrow. You've got a life to live on this fucking sound. I won't do that. I'll let that sit with me for a minute. Until I'm ready to let it go. I'll have a couple of days feeling down in a ditch, feeling like there's this or there's that, because then what happens is that then becomes impactful. I remember that moment. I know what it's done to me, and I know what it reminds me of.
You're not going back there.
No.
You've been there.
If I only let it sit in my system for an hour or so and I just push it to one side, all of a sudden it just becomes like a late bill that I've got to pay for.
It doesn't have the same impact. It doesn't have that same lasting, because it does live with you forever, doesn't it, Dan? Like, it lasts, that feeling. Like, if I ask you about a certain time, the way I said to you earlier on, and this is where we come full circle when I said about triggers, their trigger moments. If I mention a certain moment in your career or a certain loss, you go, you can like sort of feel that feeling, that hurt, that emotion, not as raw as it was at the time, but you can remember it. You remember how that made you feel, and you're like, fuck, I'm not going back there.
Yeah.
And that's that you take to the cage next time, where it's like, I've been there. I know what that feels like. Yeah. You're not doing that to me tonight.
Yeah.
Not happening, brother. 100%. Not tonight, baby.
That's what I'm saying. So you live with it for a little bit. Let it become something which adds towards the reasons to why you do what you do, and becomes a reminder. Like I say, everything in life gets liquidated by the fact that there is that much for us to control nowadays. So it's like the things that you really want to make a difference, give them some time. Separate them from everything else, this dynamic of what we have in this world every day to take care of, and give that thing some time so it can become something to be able to help motivate you, drive you.
I feel like this is a moment to ask you this question. If somebody's facing adversity in their life now, whether that be, physical, mental, whatever it is, what would your message be to them, then?
For anybody that's facing adversity at this moment in time, whether it be physical, mental, in any aspect of life, I would turn around and say to people that, it's okay for the most part. You understand, we all are in the same game, only just all in the same hell playing a different game. And I would say that it's okay to go through adversity. You also got to understand that it's there for a reason, and that is sometimes to see whether you are meant for a greater good, for a greater purpose. And ultimately, it's sitting with it, letting it sit with you, understanding why it's there, and understanding what it is that you have to help combat it. Use that, become more. Use it as strength. Use it to help you strive onto that next level, and also lean on the people around you, because we all have people that are going through similar fights or challenges in life that ultimately can help give us a perspective. They help give us a perspective, and it's something that we didn't see that could then help and enlighten us. Then that's all that we need to be able to move forward.
Seen you put a quote up, because I love your quote that you put on Instagram, and one said, "Real ones may fall back, but we never fall off." I love that one, man.
Yeah.
And a special one.
Okay.
You've got a few, haven't you? You've got a few, brother.
Lockers, bro. Lockers.
Man's seen them on there.
I think I've got like a notes on my phone. I'll be scrolling down like, oh, what's this just honest to God, like, I get like my ones like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, oh yeah, let me just quickly get on the phone.
Yeah,
write it down. You know what I'm saying?
And
one day that'll come out, it'll be something that just it'll have its right time and place when it needs to get.
May God have mercy on my opponents, because I certainly won't. Belter one,
yeah, you like that one?
Yeah, I love that one. That brings me on to your demeanour and your fighting style. In the cage, you're a different person. Like, having a privilege now for me to hold a conversation with you. You're well-mannered, you're polite, you're a gentleman, just a nice guy. But once you step inside that octagon, you're a completely different person. You're maximum violence with intent and intensity. Poof, that's the style you are. You fucking come. And you're not afraid to throw down, are you, brother? You get in them exchanges and you get in them challenges.
Yeah.
And there's an aggression to you, like that it's all out. Is that something that's a part of you and you just learn to control, or do you have to step into that mind space?
It's a part of me and I have to control it, most definitely. Most definitely. That's why, like, Greg Jones, he's one of them, as a sense that, like, he's been very aware of my mental aspects and who I am. I've lived with him, spent some time with him and his family and all of that, so I'm pretty much like one of his own. He's in a position where he'll come and corner me, and he's the one that's telling me to calm down, Danny, breathe, here we go. Do you know what I mean? He's that therapeutic side to the chaos that I have going on. And then when it comes to fighting, I open the doors and say, right, this is you, mate, go. Your time to take over. And the little demon that me comes like, yeah, baby, let's go. And then it's the controlled side of me, who is the athlete, who is the guy who needs to rationalize and say, right, calm down. My best performances have come off that.
Yeah, when it's a control performance, where if it's just fucking wild, it's all over the show.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed my last fight. I got told in the second round.
Another fight of the night.
Yeah. Danny, it's a dog fight. You want to go out there, have a dog fight, go and have a dog fight. With that, without realizing me spending so much time away from my kid and stuff like that, I was in a position, straight family, whatever, being away from home. I was in a position where, like, I was so emotionally attached to what it was that I had already longed or missed, that all it only took was one word for me to just let that inner beast come up. And 9/11, I had no control whatsoever. Tunnel vision came on. My toolbox of 50 tools turned into 2. You know what I mean? All of a sudden I just go out there and trying to weigh this kid in.
Can just go out the window, can't
Yeah, it can. But that's also one of the things that I think that is in its truest aspect of what it is, its truest form, is something that we can all relate to, which actually humanizes who I am as a professional athlete and as somebody who's on one of these, the pillar of a Premiership league as far as fighting is concerned, combat sports. It's like, all right, well, what normalizes me to other people and ultimately can help them understand who we are, and we're all in this just fighting different fights, just in different ways. That's all it is, you know what I mean? Mine still comes, except for mine's on TV and you can all see it. And if Danny loses his shit, it's because normally it's because he hasn't had control of, keeping his shit together. That is it. Apart from that, it's like, I'm still the same person.
Is it something that you'd have to constantly practice to keep a lid on?
Yeah, and I have done. I've worked with different mind sports psychologists. Again, it's more so just understanding myself and understanding, and it took years. It took years, but I talk about something that was so hard and so heartfelt at such a young age that it had that much impact on me that it's controlled 20 years of my life, which was all fighting, all violence. And it's like, all right, sweet. Well, I understand and I'm ready that when that time happens, I move on to the next chapter. I'm going to become that therapeutic type of.
You've got to let it go, and leave it behind.
Yeah, and that's going to be
It's
fine.
going to be a struggle as well. Do you think because you won't have that channel anymore, Dan, where like that mayhem can come out, whether that be in sparring, whether that be in competition, because you won't have that release path anymore?
Yeah and no. If I'm completely honest, I thought it might have been like that, but I'm in a position where I've got so much from the sport, and the sport's give me so much back for how many people I actually have helped.
Yeah, you've grown. You're a different person.
My purpose has changed. The way that I provide and the things that I do, and the bigger outlook. I'm in a position right now where it's like, all right, well, this is what it is. This is what it was, and this is how it's helping you be what it is. So that's fine. I understand the whole transition of that course, that journey, that leg of that journey. So that's I agree with it. I'm happy with it. I'll still be in the gym, still be active, because God knows how many calories I burn off a day now in the gym, mate. If I was to sit, I wouldn't get no sleep. I'd just be sitting awake like that.
To be a fighter at any level, you'd have to have a very strong mindset, but to compete with the elite, you've got to be one tough motherfucker. How do you get yourself in that mental space where you fully believe wholeheartedly you can beat these animals that are put in front of you?
My guy, Hey, I'd say this though. It goes back to that one. Like, I get people that generally ask me, "Hey, so do you think you're gonna win tonight?" I've been training for 20 years, bro. Like, no, I don't. No, 100%. I fully feel and I understand that. And again, that's where it all really comes down to the personal traits and really delving into the fabric of who you are. And for me, in that moment, in them 8, 10 weeks, 14 weeks, whatever it is, like, I believe and I'm sure for that moment that it's my time.
Yeah, because you're not fighting no dickhead outside the sweet shop. Anybody you get in there with at that level, the bad men, they're all killers, aren't they?
Yeah. I think there's something like 500, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there's 500 and something fighters in the UFC that signed. And I think there's only like 300 and something active fighters. That means people that have had more than one fight a year, right, in the last 12 months, as far as activity is concerned. In my weight category, there's like 112 people or something like that in the whole world signed to it. So it was like, yeah, it's like crabs in a bucket, bro.
Small percentage.
Yeah, everyone's trying to climb up that chain. You know what I'm saying?
And the thing is, they're all killers who are trying to climb up the chain. That's why it's so hard. That's why the UFC is special. That's why all the fights you see are all good fights, because there's no bums in there.
No.
Every fight's a hard fight. It's the Premier League of MMA.
Yeah.
So every time you step in there's going to be no handout. You're not fighting gardeners, the fighters, and they've all come for the same purpose. They all want to win. So for you to get in that mind space to look at someone like that and in that shape and think, I'm going to smash you, take some going, brother. Take some preparation.
Yeah, I'm also definitely. I think you're right on that. It is the mindset. You know what I mean? It's just being able to in that moment understand and feel that you can do what needs to be done.
It goes back to you saying as well. The greatest opponent is within.
Yeah,
you got a tattoo. Champions aren't made in gyms. Champions are made from something deep down they have inside of them. A desire, a dream, a vision. I've got that downstairs in the basement in my gym.
You have, yeah? My nose is shit, hey.
I seen it, zoomed in, I'm like, what does that tattoo say? And I seen it, I was like, yeah. Talking of visions, visualisation. Are you big on visualisation, Don?
Yeah.
Do you practice seeing what's going to happen?
I think before visualisation even became a thing, I think for anybody that wanted something, it already was. Because you got to understand, for you to make that proactive step towards change, towards bettering yourself, any dynamic of whatever it is in life that you do, there has to be thoughts. Behind thoughts, there's action. Or there can't be action without thoughts, right? So for me, it's like you've already interpreted that. You already started to think about it. From when I was a kid, before I even knew what, the whole sports psychology side of things was, and visualization and, just trying to bring things into the universe for yourself. Everything to me was already happening. I'll be going to bed thinking about a better life, thinking about how I'm gonna attain this or that, or I'm gonna level up in this way or that way, or I'm gonna help the person next to me. Then on top of that, then obviously I found an avenue which was fighting, which was being a part of the sport. So it was just that, just little by little, the picture, the image of what I wanted, the things of where I wanted to be and who I wanted to see, all came into my head for these little moments of daydreaming, sitting on the bus, being alone, being in my garden, being away from the noise of what the rest of life is. And sometimes you got to do that. You got to take yourself away and actually really ask yourself a question, whether it's on top of a fucking mountain or sitting in your bedroom with the TV off and stuff. You know, just sitting there and asking yourself honest questions ultimately will help build the vision. In and around building the vision, it's the little things in between that. It's like, all right, well, if that's going to happen, then it's picturing how it's going to happen. It's picturing, you know, what you're going to do to make it happen.
I'm feeling it.
You know?
Because thoughts without feelings are fuck all. When you have a thought, when you put a feeling behind it, and it excites you or you get that feeling, that's how I believe you materialise things. And I've done that in all walks of life with anything. If I have a fucking business idea and I see it, when I visualise it and I feel it, I think that's going to happen, man. I'm going to make that happen, and I run with it and it excites me. It happens.
Yeah.
But if there's no feeling to it, it doesn't materialise.
Yeah,
You've got to feel it, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you visualise, can you visualise yourself winning fight then? Like, whoever you're fighting, do you see it? Do you play it out in your mind?
Again,
do you see yourself getting your hand raised? Do you see yourself walking out? Do you know what I mean?
I've become better with it in the more recent times, but I used to become like very obsessive with it to a point where it used to take over my life, and to the point where like every moment, every second of the day, I get asked by a family member or a friend or whatever. I'm sitting there and be a little bit quiet down. You know, what? Sorry, yeah. I'm just doing this or whatever. But it's that kind of continuous thought process of where you're living in the moment, and the moment's not now, but you're already there, and you're playing things out in your head. All the
you've seen it every fucking which way but loose, brother, haven't you?
Every single variable. So then I have an answer to the variables. So if I've already played something out in my head 1,000 times, like an F1 driver, or whatever, going through the corners and the turns and stuff like that, I'm already having an answer or a solution to the problem.
Yeah, if he does this and that does happen, you've seen that big shot come over the top, the one you didn't want to see, but it came.
Yeah.
How am I going to deal with that?
Well, again,
he's going for that. He's going for that takedown. Now what I'm doing, I'm moving my legs back. I'm getting out the way, or you know where your feet are going to be, and then you're having them other visions where you're thinking like the good ones where he's just stepped bang and you caught him and it's great, or you're practicing it. When you have the bad ones, then you try and shut them out and close them down.
I do, yeah, because
and it's difficult, isn't it?
That shit doesn't need to be in your head.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah, they grow. They do grow, and then what it'll do is because you subconsciously know that you've put that to the back of your head.
It's there, and you're thinking, I don't want to bring that alive.
Hello, you're like, fuck off. Get out of making a cup of tea. I've just forgotten about you 5 minutes ago, but you're back.
Yeah,
it's like, honest to God, I'll be like that sometimes. Quickest way, I normally just pick up one of my kids and be like, yeah, fine, Sam, what's going on? Because I know straight away.
Get your mind away from it, yeah.
But something that really like supersede that, it has to be something that's quite powerful. It can't just be a general task, making a cup of tea or something like that, because it will creep back in.
It'll come again.
Yeah, exactly that.
Okay. Your biggest fear is not fulfilling your true potential. Do you feel you are maximising your potential and you're operating at your optimum at the moment?
It's crazy you should say that. As of right now, yeah, I'm
that guy.
I'm trying. Put me on the spot now. Look, I'm trying to spin a lot of plates. So I'm a circus master right now, bro. I'm trying to spin a lot of plates. I'm trying to ultimately understand. Like I say, this chapter is one part of my life that ultimately produces something for the rest. Now, I also understand that fighting is fighting. Fighting is fighting, literally in its simplest form. Fighting is fighting. So in and around that, who is it? Who am I? I'm not just Danny Roberts, the MMA fighter, the hot chocolate. I'm not just that. So it's understanding, extending the facets of who I am and what I can possibly be. And like I say, for the greater purpose, which is trying to empower other people around me, empower people in our community, help lift people, help stop things that aren't common violence and stuff like that, or just trying to give people a different insight on how to help themselves and how to level up in whichever capacity that may be. So for me, it's understanding now that with everything that I've got going on, as I come to, if you want to call it the twilight years of my career, and then where I'm going after that, it's trying to lead and open as many doors as I can to be able to best extend myself for the next chapter. To be able to
yourself.
Yeah, make it a little bit bigger,
I've seen you touch on the two parts, mental and physical, and they're coming together at the two. And let's say when they come together, we're abundant. Can you touch on that a little bit deeper for me?
When they come together, we're abundant.
When you said, like, I've got to get me physical in line with the mental, because it's okay being physically capable.
Yeah.
But mentally, if you're not there and them two don't align, brother,
Yeah, well, yeah,
it's not happening.
Like for anything in life, and that's one of the best things that the gym has always taught me, is that I can go to the gym and I can go and train, right? And as soon as I'm feeling good, I'm feeling in a good space, good headspace, I've trained, physically I'm good, my best mental work will come after that. I can't be a fat slob or be going eating pizzas and curries and all that last night. And
I'm feeling good about yourself.
Yeah, go to the gym and then come out and go, right, today I was gonna, and this, it's realistically it's not gonna happen. Both of them got to work in situ, right? Your brain feeds your body, and your body will actually help feed your brain because it will give you the space you need to be able to think on the right, the right level, the right platform. So yeah, the two work in situ. I've always understood that the best version of myself has always come, if I could, the feeling that I have around the 3 to 4 week window before a fight,
you'd live there.
I'm Superman. I am Superman, but it's not safe to live there forever. You understand
you can't
me?
Live there forever.
You're burning the candle both ends. We are going, going through it at that stage. But
must come down as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Anything great never lasts forever.
Yeah.
So we've just got to live in them moments, and that's why them moments are good, brother.
Yeah.
That's why, like, you look back at them moments and go, oh, flying there.
Yeah,
and you search for them moments, and during the camp you'll probably search for them moments as well. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, yeah, when I get there I'm going to be flying. And there'll be certain ones where it's like, that last week's a killer, man, because that's when I'm making weight and it's when I'm feeling fucked. And if it weren't for the highs, there wouldn't be lows, and if it weren't for the lows, there wouldn't be highs.
Yeah, you're right.
Success is hidden in your daily routine. What does your daily routine look like when you're in a fight camp, when you're training and preparing for a fight? Give me an example of a day in the life of Dan Roberts.
I'm actually normally away, aren't I? So it's actually very simple compared to now. Normally just like, right, you go to the gym, you're going to be there, you're going to go home, you're going to eat, you're going to sleep, you're going to get up, you're going to go to the gym, you're going to eat, you sleep, you can go home. You know what I mean? That kind of repetitive stuff. But obviously right now I talk about it, and it's like time management, micromanaging. And it's about not spreading yourself too thin also, because what happens is, as soon as I get myself into the position of where I'm overly, committed and comprising loads of aspects of life all into one day,
starts becoming problems.
Yeah, because the stress comes in. I can't think straight. The cortisol levels are up. I can't go to the gym and do what I need to do.
When you're there, you're not fucking there, because your mind's somewhere else. You're thinking of the next task and you're not focused.
So I got micromanaged stuff. Is again, getting up, doing the school run in the morning, stuff like that. Then I'm getting off, going straight to the gym, coming back home. Normally having some sort of lunch either out on road, sometimes in the car. I got meal preps and all that done. I have a protein shake. If I'm lucky, I'll go home, have a little nap, get up, go to a second session, and then depending on what I've got going on, that second session can either be in the afternoon, or I might have a second light session in the afternoon, have some late dinner, and then go for a big session at night time.
Do you know what, as well? There's so many different sides to MMA. With boxing, there's not. There's striking, and that's it. Don't get me wrong, you've still got to put the fitness in, you've got to have the backbone right, and you've got to, you might put strength and conditioning in and whatever, but with MMA, there's jits, there's striking, there's
not enough hours in a day.
No, there's fucking all kinds. Do you have different coaches for different things?
Yeah, and we'll be back here in the States, but in the UK, I forget where I am here. We'll be back in the UK, I've got to, and I've had to go and source it, so I find myself travelling around a lot to be able to make sure I meet the needs at the level of what I need.
You need it to be. Do you delegate them jobs to others? How do you manage the programme, Dan, or do you manage the programme? So, for example, if you've got like an S&C session with them, you've got to do some striking with fucking Danny Widow, you're doing, you know what I'm trying to say? You've got different coaches for different things, there's horses for courses. How do you put it all in line and like get all the ducks in a row so that everything lines up with you? Is it you who does that and manages that?
No. No. I got a fantastic strength and conditioning coach, Chris Tam. Now he has like platforms and Google Sheets and all sorts of madness like that. So we bang all our work on there, where each coach can see where they come into play with what's going on. Yeah. Then what we do with each coach, obviously, I will then speak to them about the principles, about what we're working on and how we're looking to improve just by that little 1% a day on tiny little parameters. And then in between that, there'd be like a WhatsApp group that'd be set up where the coaches can relay and we can talk to each other to make sure that each coach is complimenting each one on their work. And then the time management is down to me then. The way I eat is down to me based upon the macros that I have in, based upon what my strength conditioning coach says that I should be on, based upon what goals we're trying to meet in that period. So we go 4-week blocks, especially with the strength conditioning. Again, that should be helping supplement everything else, not take away from it. So you got to be very careful about spreading yourself too thin. So now I'll go to the gym. I won't just train for the sake of training. I go and I do things that like a robot. I'm like, this is what I need because this is going to improve me in this area. And then else is just a waste. So I become very analytical on the things that I do.
Wasting energy, because you need your recovery, and your rest are just as important as what your output is, isn't it?
In the States, it's a lot easier. It's under one roof. So we go there. Everyone's able to, coaches are able to stand together, look at you, see the way you perform, and then talk to each other about what's going on.
Some of the facilities I've seen you training at, man, look insane. Like the UFC Institute and stuff like
the PI?
that. Oh, jeez. My man.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get one over here though.
Fucking hell, yeah. I was having a little look and I was thinking, wow, just wow. There's some setup there, innit?
Yeah, it is. They got everything from nutrition. They got obviously food nutritionists there and all that. They've got the physical therapy side of things, right down to like doctors and that surgeons there. As far as the training facilities and coaches there and all that, they got crazy amounts of things you can get tests and that done, so you can get.
Do you feel like the States is next level then?
Do you know why I think it's next level? Because apart from Premiership football over here, or compared to Premiership football over here, they treat all of their sports or athletes as good as your surgeons. They got PhDs over there. You're on the same platform. They're like, they're just from the sponsorships to the avenues that they get help with over there is unreal. Over here, you're left to fend for yourself for the most part, unless you.
That's why I think a lot of us come up short. Like, and I'm not being disrespectful to British fighters, because British fighters are great, and I'm very, very proud of where we're from, and we've got some of the best fighters in the world. But I'm saying, a lot of the time, we get on planes and things go fucking wrong. When you get over there and you're on the big stage, a lot of the time we come up short, and I feel like they've got brains behind the brawn a little bit more.
Yeah. Again, there's 300-something million people in America compared to here. So there's just a massive market for it. It's like you can be someone and you just got a greater chance to be able to make something.
The way you said everything's under one roof and stuff like that, like you go to the local boxing gym here and the gyms here, the facilities are fantastic. We've got some of the best gyms in the country here, but I'm saying when you go over there, like I went to Gleason's gym when I was in New York, and like the setup there is just like insane. You're going around the gym and you're having a little look, and you're just like, whoa, there was different doors right the way around the gym with different coaches and different doors. People are coming in, turning up. It's like, yeah, you're with him. He's got that set up there, and everything's just like clockwork, man. It's all moving. I'm just looking around the gym, just like, wow, this is insane.
Ridiculous.
Do you know what I mean? It's another level, and obviously, if you're preparing like that, it's gonna show in the performance, innit?
Yeah, definitely. And it even comes down to like little things that are around it. Then you talk about facilities and all that, and it's like your common man. What is every the seventh person doing? And because it's so, even though there's that many people that actually live there, obviously the population in America, there's that many people doing a different array of sports, that there always will be someone who's sport or like-minded, not too far away from you. Yeah. Over here is a little bit different. But then I also think that I weigh it up. I'm like, all right, well, if the UK was America and we had just as many people over there, how successful would we be? And it'd be insane. Because if you look at it pound for pound,
yeah, we do all right.
We do all right, mate. Come on, we do. We got 60 million people just in Liverpool alone. I come and moved up here because I knew there was something crazy, like 20 amateur boxing gyms in the northwest.
Yeah, you're doing bit. Look, if you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. Yeah, and I truly believe that. Liverpool's a fighting city, and if you stand out here in any combat sport, you're gonna do all right. If you can get out of here, like even in local competitions and stuff, if you can get out of the region and get to the national stage, 9 times out of 10 you'll do very well.
Yeah, you're right.
Because there's so many good.
There's a kid
on every corner.
The competition is here.
It's here, man.
It is. They got like Liverpool from what has been bred from. Like you say, it's a fighting city, and people made a different stuff here. So it's something that if you know you can overcome that locally, you're already.
You're halfway there.
Yeah, we'll talk.
What's your why?
My why?
Why does it do it, bro?
See, I would have said something different before, obviously being a father, and now I look at it, and literally my why is for them. What's your why? My why is for them. My why is because I didn't have what I needed once upon a time, and now I'm in a position to be able to change that for them. So I don't want to be a part of a generational curse. I want to be a generational change.
Is that what keeps you motivated?
Yeah, every single fucking day. It wakes me up in the morning. It gets me up. It makes me understand and know that I'm the person that has control of this one aspect of my life to be able to help benefit others that I love and care about.
Should relish family life now, don't?
Yeah, it's the fucking sickest, you know. It's the sickest. Honest to God, you get everything else, mate. It's like it doesn't give me what I need. I'm grateful for it. Like, again, it's not perfect. It doesn't say it doesn't come without blemishes and stuff like that. There's ups and downs.
What does?
Of course, like everything, like
Let's be
anyone,
real.
right? But for the most part, and then actually the core values of what it gives me is special. It's special.
You're blessed, lad.
Yeah, that's it.
What's next? What's next with Nile Roberts?
For me, everything. I like, again, obviously I speak with you today. I love to talk. I am trying to look to delve into that whole kind of, the commentating type stuff with UFC,
amazing at that.
MMA, anything like that. Get back onto that form and again use my avenues, my skill set. I have 17 fights for the UFC now, so I'm down as one of the pioneers for the UK, and I'm still not done yet. So there's a wealth of knowledge and experience there to be shared. Yeah. And as well as that, again, I do a little bit of outreach work now. Kids, different schools, underprivileged, just to help them understand, giving back. Yeah, so that's something, again.
Does it feel good to give?
It feels amazing. And you got to understand this. It's the gratification that you get from it, which is unseen or felt. But I'm not doing something which is like directly for myself. You understand? It's a repercussion of the work that I give out that I get back. And that for me it's empowering, and it helps me sleep at night. You know what I'm saying?
You give them back, bro.
Yeah.
You're doing something. You're making a change, a lasting change. It's not just for you. It's not just one-ended.
Yeah.
More people are going to benefit from what you're doing.
Exactly that. And then that's one thing I will say is freedom of choice. One thing that the sports actually enable me to do is decide how I'm going to do what I'm going to do every single day, as well as be around the people that I care about most and all that. So I'm in a position where
to me, that's the definition of being rich.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. I've said that before. A lot of people think it's about the money or the numbers you got in your bank. I just want to be able to wake up,
make the choices, brother,
and make the choice that I want to make that day. If someone wants to go football and he wants to play a 6-hour game, guess what, son? We can do that because I can do that for you. Do you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, it's the memories, the moments that, the fabric of what life is actually and should be.
That's
lived
what it's
for.
all about.
Yeah.
100%. Is there any topics at all that we haven't touched on which you'd like to talk about before we go?
No. I want to give a little shout out to Win Water though.
Win-win, man.
Is that cool? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I was going to ask you if you wanted to do any shout outs.
Yeah. Well, this is a company we've just a few of us like-minded individuals that come together to start this up, and then we talk about what we're doing for the next generation and stuff. I'm actually a little bit fearful for my sons, in a sense that we're going through such a dramatic, diverse change in life, society, and ethics of what we are and who we are as humans. I'm worried about their future. Bro. It's scary, isn't it? The amount that information gets shared from how fast from one side of the world to the next. And then the realization of what we're actually doing to the planet, how quick we're populating, how much stress and strain we're putting on our resources is unreal.
And a lot of the vital things are being suppressed.
Yeah.
We only find out what they want us to find out.
1,000,000%.
But the guys at Win Water, they're eating different, aren't they? They're bringing water from Glastonbury. Go on, tell us about it, brother.
Right,
tell us.
It's from government certified land, Cheddar Gorge, Glastonbury. And everything that you can see here, including the cap, is biodegradable. So in 90 days,
Gone.
this comes from the earth and goes back to the earth. And not only that, are you doing good for the earth, you're doing good for yourself, because there's no microplastics, there's nothing leaching into the water. Yeah, no toxins. So not only are you helping your body, but you're helping the planet, you're helping the next generation. So if I'm consciously aware about trying to do what I need to do for my children, my own personal children, then I should be conscious about other people's. And if we all can do that, we can all start change. And if we can all start change, then we're all going somewhere that is a better place. And for me, win-win, you know.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, it's exactly what it says.
And boy, it tastes fresh, you know.
It does, doesn't it? It's a bad thing. And like people go, no, isn't that just water? I'm like, no, it's serious. This is
no, it is. It's clean.
Yeah, it's not just noticeably different. So I'll say this now, and I'm not gonna slander anyone or anything like that. I'll have to turn the bottle around. But you go, Pink, you can be that. And now the mad thing is, this is all I drink. This is all I drink now, yeah? So if I go and sip from this, I can taste the difference between that
the
and
difference, because that's clean.
Yeah, now, as of right now, we got John Moore's University that are going through and putting this through crazy rigorous tests just to be able to let people know scientifically that we've got every standpoint covered to show exactly what it is that this bottle can do and what it's trying to achieve. It's
amazing what they're doing.
For the economy and stuff like that.
It's a great thing for you to be a part of, Dan.
Oh, major. Again, like I say, it's something that kind of sits with the values and the ethics that I have myself. And I'm like, all right, well...
Making moves. We're going to start seeing it on the shelves soon in bigger supermarkets and stuff like that. Yeah. How can we get it and where can we get it from? Give them a little plug, man.
Right, there you go. You'll be able to find Women Water on social media. Go on womenwater.co.uk. You'll be able to buy direct from there. You get subscriptions. It works out a little bit cheaper. And what I will say is one thing... tend to have a box of this or have a bottle of this. Once you've had one, you're not going to go back, and it will be a thing that will become your future. So
there's also a list on there as well. I think if you go on their website, which lists the shops that you can actually walk in and they store it where it's actually available. You can go in and buy it if you don't want to order it to your home.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Northwest, I think there must be like 100 different locations at the moment.
Few quick fire questions before you go, just for a little bit of laugh and a bit of light-hearted. You go-to comfort food?
Go-to comfort food? Oh, pasta.
Pasta, yeah.
Yeah, do you know what the thing is? People are like, that's still healthy, is it?
Yeah. What type of pasta, brother?
Let me starve you, bro, for a week, and then go, right, you're only allowed to eat carbs and then put a bowl of pasta in front of you. I guarantee that becomes
you'd ask what is
that
the pasta?
Become your death row meal, bro. I guarantee you. Do you know what? I'll say this, and it's probably be probably like deemed as boring, but I'm either bolognese or carbonara. Real simple.
Yeah, I hadn't talked bolognese. We can talk that all day. Favorite fighter? Favorite fighter of all time, dead or alive?
Ooh.
Be anyone.
Can be anyone, yeah.
Anyone, brother. But you can only pick one.
I'm gonna say Mike Tyson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came up in a generation in the era where he was the
boy,
shit, bro.
He's the boy. He still is. He's the boy, man.
Come on.
Favorite spot in the city? In this city?
Ooh. Yeah. I'm caught up between Lark Lane and Allen Road.
Okay, I can work with that. Lark Lane. I like Lark Lane because you're by the park and it's chill.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that.
Nice little urban vibe down there.
Yeah. I like Churrasco, that little spot.
Oh, yeah, fire that. Yeah, it's fire.
You know, man. You know the spots. Highlight of your career so far, and you can only pick one. Gun to your head.
Already thinking about it too long, aren't I?
No. I like it when you're thinking about it because you're not just saying it on a whim and then it's like, oh, fucking hell, I should have said.
Highlight win, yeah. I'm going to go with my debut against Nathan Coy. For me, it was like, again, I say about collective moments, this, that, and the other. For me, it was having I had a handful of scouts who all flew over to Vegas. And we're there just like, what, you're going to be on the UFC? Yeah, what's it, bro? Both flights, jump on the next flight coming out and all that.
What the hell, bro?
Oh, and they all turn up. They all turn up. They're there for the weekend and all that. And I think I must have been fighting on a Saturday. They get there the Friday. And then it's like, they're coming to the weigh-ins on the Saturday with no sleep. And I'm like, what's happening there? But yeah, no, we did everything just to that second that I was talking about being in the signature with Adam Ramsey And then him actually was the person who put it into my head. He was like, look at where you come from. Look at where you've gone. Look at where you've been. And look at you now. We're sitting up here right now, right? You've got the woman who's just had your baby there in bed, fast asleep. Me and you stood by the window with a little glass of, glass of brandy, looking out across Vegas. And I was like, you're just a kid who came from nothing, who's standing here now at the top of like where you need to be. And you've just won. You got a kid at home which you just about to go and see when you jump on that flight. I was like, oh my God. It's like just everything about it. Even now, it's like I stuck for words, bro. My gut, my heart twists, everything. I'm just like, oh, them things don't happen very often. And they can only happen if you're willing to take the risk to see such an impactful moment come into your life. If you're not, and you're going to live within the comforts of what life is, don't expect nothing too great. And that's all I will say is like, it's down to what you give. You give a lot, you'll get a lot back. You give a little, expect little.
Love that. One thing on your bucket list you haven't done yet?
Jump out of a plane. Fuck. Yeah, I'm scared. Shit, scared of heights, bro.
Are you gonna have a go? Are you gonna do it?
Yeah. I've this is something that people will know, that you know me will know, that like I'm that guy that if I'm scared and I need to do something, I'll do it.
I'm the same.
And it's because we hear him once, right?
Yeah.
People told me about it. It's like, you know, when you're free falling and all that, it's like it's amazing. It's just that initial first jump.
I had a few months ago.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you go?
I'm still here, brother, to tell the tale. It was amazing, bro. I'd do it again.
You would, yeah?
And I'm scared, and I was scared. I got in the plane, and the lads who were in there, I was like, how are you feeling, boys? And I was with my missus' mum. She was keen as fuck, and they were like, yeah, where's Sam? But I reckon they were flapping, but I was flapping, lad. And we got up there, and when we got out, it was the most amazing thing I've ever done. Yeah, it's serious one. You've got to do it, definitely, 100%. One possession, you can only keep one possession. What would it be? Only keep one, bro.
I wouldn't really like to say that I got too many possessions, to be fair. I don't look at, what do you call it, inanimate objects like that. But if there was one, what would it be? Oh. My granddad passed away like 2 years ago now. And he gave me a handful of watches. This is one of them that I've got on my wrist now. And there's one that I've got at home, which is like, my granddad was that guy who realised that as young kids we were going through some shit, so he made sure he turned up every Sunday just to check in and make sure nothing too serious was going on and all that, or if there was anything he can help or control with, maybe the odd day out or a little walk or something like that. My granddad was the one that was there for us. And he became a big part of my life as far as that male role model kind of thing. So I've got a watch at home that, like, I remember him particularly telling me one day when he came around and he said, later on in life when you're old enough and all that, and you understand what it is, he said, this is going to be yours. So obviously he told my nan that, and then when he passed, Nan invited me around to the house and was like, pulled out this briefcase, opened it up. He's in, half Indian, so it's like everything, he used to love his gold.
Yeah,
Would open his briefcase and it was just like, like Inspector Gadget, he opens up, he opens up. Yeah. It was like that. It's just like, right, wait, he told me that this is yours, and then you can take any one of them as well. So I was like, oh my God. So yeah, hard hitting the granddad's watch, definitely.
Yeah, it's nice as well because it's a symbol of time.
Yeah.
Time's precious, bruv.
Real talk, I like that.
One song you have to sing along to. You know what I mean? One when it comes on, Dan, you can't help yourself, brother. One you get in the groove with, my brother. Come on. You jam.
Oh, you put me on the spot here.
The thing, bruv.
Oh, what is it?
One where you're like, whoo, yeah, turn that motherfucker up. You know them ones.
I've probably got loads like that though,
Give me one, lad. Go to.
Give me one.
Or a feel-good one.
Let me hear one of yours. You got loads, innit?
This man got all day.
A big list. I'm trying to think now,
Little go-to one in the shower, or a pick-me-up, or a feel-good. Just one where you're like, yeah, a little sing-along to that.
No, I'm stuck on that, I'm not even going to lie.
Do you want me to skip?
Go on.
Skip it for you? Or do you want to skip it? Or
Go on, skip it.
Okay. Beach holiday or a city break?
Beach holiday.
My man.
Yeah, beach holiday.
City break is good though, innit? But a beach holiday, lad, you can't whack, can you? You know what I mean?
It is, but you can always be on a beach holiday longer than a city break.
Yeah, and a city break, you need a fucking break to get over it, don't you?
Fucking, I'm already in a city, aren't I?
Your favourite way to wind down?
Favorite way to wind down?
Go to wind down.
It's got to be a hot salt bath with, a show on my laptop or something like that. Just chilling.
Just chilling.
Yeah.
My man. Dan, thank you so much for coming in. It's been an
Okay.
absolute pleasure, bro.
Oh,
It's been an honour.
Thank
I'd
you,
like to
bro.
just do a little shout out all to myself. I'd like to say a shout out to Gratitude Apparel for bringing me out for the podcast. The geezers, Green Lane Blinds, my company, because the podcast wouldn't be possible without it. And also a new sponsor we've got on board, JT Aesthetics, John Mullen, top guy. Thanks very much. Dan, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you, brother. Honestly, God.
Guys, until next time, peace out.
Thank you.